Hello everybody and welcome to beautiful Surrey, British Columbia, the South Surrey Arena tonight for the Canucks Alumni and Surrey Eagles event game. Could not be more excited for this charitable event as the Eagles launch their Birds and Buddies program. Lots of memorable names in this lineup from different eras of both Canucks and NHL and different pro leagues of hockey. Of course, most notably, names like Babych, Kirk, McLean hitting the ice right now here, warming up. As you can see, Babych now here on the near side, still rocking that beautiful mustache, which many Canucks fans grew up admiring. And of course, fellow broadcaster Liam Higgs is sporting in favor of Dave Babych. And I know the Eagles, of course, we talked to a few of them pregame, could not be more excited to be part of this for the Birds and Buddies event here that the Surrey Eagles are starting to get. And this should be a super fun matchup between these two sides.
Yeah, and it's been a super fun event so far. I'm really excited to see some of the names out here tonight. And let me just start. John Craighead, had a little chat with him before the game. Was really excited to talk to him and hear his thoughts. And I just have to say, what a do. I'm excited to see how he's even going to fit that hair into the helmet. But I'm really excited for this one. I expect it to be, a fun game between some of former Eagles, former Canucks alumni, former NHLers versus some of the Eagles veterans that we have out here tonight. I'm really excited to see. I know it's a bit of a bigger ice sheet, so we'll see how fast these shifts are, especially for the older guys.
No, I love that you point that out. If you take a look, some of the older guys, of course, they're allowed to go buckets off in the warm-up, of course. They're grandfathered in. Craig had one of those. Gorgeous hair, although not the only guy. You see a few guys there. BJ McDonald, another Canucks veteran, sporting the no-helmet warm-up here for the Canucks alumni for this team. And again, the names continue on from there. Lots of different players, both from professional leagues, but we've got a lot of ex-Surrey Eagles alumni in this as well. A lot of them from the new Westminster Royals before that team transitioned into being the Surrey Eagles we know and love today. And lots of great players will be playing for both these sides, and I just can't wait to see what Dave Babych is able to do from that back end. I know that one of the things he was saying to us before game is he's not going to be afraid to show that old-time physicality if the youth are able to beat him with some speed.
Yeah, I feel like, if the youth start to get a little bit too, fast out there, I would expect to see this one get a little bit physical, as especially, guys out there like Dave Babych. I mean, John Craighead, obviously a part of the Surrey Eagles back in the inaugural year, back in 1991 for the Surrey Eagles, and obviously they're going to show them some of that old man strength, if you will.
Of course, and it's not just Eagles players playing as well. Head coach Scott Gomez suiting up, and of course, two-time Stanley Cup champion, one-time Calder Trophy winner. Assistant coach Mike Motto, who played briefly for the Boston Bruins in the NHL, will also be suiting up as a defender, playing against his own son, Ryan Motto, who currently plays for the Surrey Eagles. A bit of a father-son duel on the ice tonight. Couldn't be more excited to see what the Eagles coaching staff, you hear their wise words for the players. Now time for them to back it up with some skill on the sheet.
Yeah, and that's what I was exactly just about to say. Head coach Scott Gomez, we know that he likes to preach a very well-oiled machine here for the Eagles. All those systems he likes to preach to his guys. Well, now it's time for him to go out there and practice what he preaches, and he's going to be on a line with Ryan Evenhouse. And when you look at the roster for the Surrey Eagles, I think Ryan Evenhouse is probably a player that's most like head coach Scott Gomez when he would play. He's not the biggest guy. He's got lots of skill. And now on a line with head coach Scott Gomez, I'm really excited for those two to be on a pair tonight. I know it's going to be a run-time game, so I'm not sure exactly how many shifts we'll see of them, but I expect to see them a lot out there together.
And of course, a few former Eagles returning to don the jersey once again. Josh Wessels, who played for that Fred Page Cup winning team last year. You've got Ty Westgard returning as well, playing 160 career games with the Eagles and was captain in that final year. So Westgard, of course, happy to be back. So it'll be interesting to see those two suiting up for their former team. And we should break down how the kind of game is going to work. As you just mentioned, run time. So we'll have, once the 20 minutes starts, it's not going to stop. And then in the first intermission, we won't have an intermission because we're going to have a skills competition. Could not be more excited to see that. You've got the old guys, the age and wisdom versus the youth and the speed. We'll see what helps out more. I'm guessing the skating competition. You have to imagine the youthful Eagles have an advantage in that, but if we get a shooting comp, well, you can see that NHL experience come back to bite the Eagles.
I was going to say, as well as I do, Zach, that NHL experience is so key, and, I'm sure the veterans out here are going to have some tips and tricks that are going to allow them to keep up. I have there's not a doubt in my mind that these former NHLers are going to be able to keep up with some of these new Surrey Eagles.
I mentioned it right off the top, but of course tonight's event is to raise awareness for the Eagles' new program, the Birds and Buddies program that pairs Surrey Eagles players with students from 23 schools who may be facing social or emotional challenges, whether they've experienced bullying, struggling to make friends, or just need a little extra support. This program will foster confidence, connection, and friendship through mentorship, ball hockey, and special events. Students in the program will get the ultimate Eagles experience, from rink tours and game day celebrations to skating lessons and team merchandise that will make them feel like a part of the team. Each Eagles buddy gets to see their photo on the Jumbotrons at an Eagles home game, a moment that reminds them that they belong. This initiative is about more than just hockey. It's about creating lasting bonds, building self-esteem, and empowering Surrey's youth. With the support of their Eagles mentor, these students gain not just a role model, but a lifelong friend. And representing the Birds and Buddies program will be Sage Brar, who will talk a little bit more about that coming up here after the warm-up. But again, this charitable event will be to raise awareness for that Birds and Buddies program that the Eagles are putting on, and so happy to be part of an amazing initiative like that.
And you know what I'm really excited for? Obviously, great to have the Birds and Buddies program in effect, but I've been so impressed and so excited with just how many people have showed up tonight here at South Surrey Arena. I mean, this place is packed. It really feels kind of like almost a Surrey Eagles playoff game here in the building tonight.
And of course, Surrey Eagles playoff games, have good memories of those from last year. It was quite the run for the Eagles, and of course they'll be hoping to do that again this season, but only time will tell how that breaks down. Tonight they've got arguably the toughest test, facing the highest experienced players they will have played against. And we'll give you a little bit more of a rundown just after the warm-up. We'll have the proper player introductions.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if the Surrey Eagles are smart, there's a lot of some NHL playoff experience on the other side of the ice. Maybe, you want to pick their brains a little bit right before the playoff run in the BCHL.
And also lots of different archetypes of players on the ice. We've got, offensive defensemen, skilled forwards, but also a few gritty guys. You have to wonder if we'll see any of the mitts being dropped on the ice tonight. Bit of an old versus youth brawl there.
Like you said earlier, if the young guys are starting to get a little bit too fancy, starting to use that speed a little bit too much, I wouldn't be surprised if we see guys like John Craighead. Obviously, Dave Babych has already said, might get a little bit physical out there tonight, and man, I'm here for it. I'm really excited for that. I really hope we get to see a little bit of that. And hey, a guy like Babych Brar could really, he's a bit of a, he's an enforcer for this Eagles team. Maybe drops the mitts with Babych, and he can learn a thing or two about how to get the upper hand when it comes to a Donnybrook. So I'm really excited to see the kind of knowledge that the vets here, the Canucks alumni, are going to show these new Surrey Eagles. It looks like we're about to get ready for player introductions here as warm-ups continue to get underway, and I have to agree with you, Zach. It is so cool to finally see some of these Canucks alumni, especially without their buckets on in warm-up. It's a really nice touch, and I also am really excited to see, as a former goaltender, how about Kirk McLean playing defense tonight? Obviously, I don't believe he's put the pads on since he retired, so coming out here tonight, he's going to be playing defenseman, number 1, Kirk McLean, and I know any Canucks fans out here listening right now know the name Kirk McLean, but I'm excited to see what kind of defenseman he's going to be. Maybe he'll be a stalwart of defense back there, big defensive defenseman, or maybe he's got a little bit of flair. I could see him having a little bit of flair, maybe a bit of an offensive defenseman, might get a bingo here or there. We'll have to see.
You have to imagine that as a former goaltender, he's going to want to play some fantastic
I'll tell you right now,
chances.
I'll tell you right now, though, as a former goalie, I disagree. As a former goalie, I would be coming out here to score a goal. You don't get to score many of those as a goaltender. You don't get to score very often. This is Kirk McLean's chance to come out here and rip a Gino or two.
I see. Don't need to help the current goaltender. You've done that yourself for years on end. I like the offensive mentality. Just before our warm-ups finish, we should thank some sponsors that make tonight's possible. The Rick's Heart Foundation, a Canadian nonprofit that provides essential outreach to the city of Surrey and around the globe, leading and funding programs to reach those marginalized by poverty, addiction, personal crises, and isolations, bridging the gap for a stable, healthy, and more joyful future for their community. So thanks to the Rick's Heart Foundation, and also to the Rotary Club of White Rock, embodying the spirit of service above self, making a lasting impact on our community through dedication and generosity, with over $1 million raised from their renowned charities book sales. They've supported countless local initiatives here in White Rock, South Surrey, and beyond. So thank you so much to the Rotary Club of White Rock and Rick's Heart Foundation for helping make tonight possible. And we should also thank, of course, we have some big names in attendance. We've got MLA Brent Chapman, as well as City Councillor Linda Annie and Mike Bowes. So I'd like to thank them. And of course, in a few moments' time, we will also hear from the Mayor of Surrey.
I was going to say, I believe we're also going to hear from the Mayor, yeah. The Mayor will be out here tonight, we'll have a little video played from her later tonight, I believe, in about 15 minutes time. Could be a little bit sooner than that, but let me talk a little bit about some of the Surrey Eagles who are on the ice here tonight. Obviously, the stories about the Canucks alumni, but let's talk a little bit about some of the Surrey Eagles. So the Surrey Eagles who are going to be playing on the blue team tonight: Siwon Kim, Ryan Motto, Brendan Gill, and Jackson Anderson. And let me tell you, we'll start with Siwon Kim. Right now, 48 points in 43 games in the regular season for the Surrey Eagles. He's been absolutely fantastic. One of the smartest hockey players in the BCHL. That hockey IQ, I think you'll see it immediately. Now, I think we're going to see a lot of offense out here tonight, and that's going to be Kim's game. I'm really excited to see him. And then obviously Ryan Motto, he's been a great tone setter this season for the Surrey Eagles. We talked about the physicality from Dave Babych, but Ryan Motto, number 7, Brady Tkachuk, is kind of the player he likes to play like, if you will. Currently has 11 points in 24 games this season, and he's been an incredible tone setter as of late for the Surrey Eagles. Loves to throw that weight around. Had a really nice hit just the other day against the Nanaimo Clippers, last night, in fact. And then Brendan Gill, another speedster here for the Surrey Eagles, 35 points in 47 games, and that would be the biggest thing for me with Brendan Gill, just his straight speed. I think it's definitely something that can be exploited tonight by the old-timers. Just get him going fast down the wing and see what he can do. And then obviously Jackson Anderson, the captain here for your Surrey Eagles, Captain America, Jackson Anderson, 6'2", 185 pounds. He was been hurt for a little bit. 27 points in 22 games. One of the best two-way defensemen in the BCHL. Really excited to see him out here as well. And like I said, that two-way game he brings, he's going to have a lot of veterans out here that he can pick the brain of. Really excited to see him.
And some of these pros are, of course, former Eagles. Now, some of them former Royals before they became the Eagles. And I would say the most notable of those has to be Cliff Ronning, who had a 150-point season in the 1 year he played in the BCHL, which is truly astounding. And that was for the New Westminster Royals before they became the Eagles, although not the only alumni as well as Crowther. Sean Crowther also spent some time here as a forward playing for the Royals before they became the Eagles. So cool to see that proof is in the pudding. The development paths, like the Surrey Eagles, really do work, and you can chase that pro dream and indeed have some success, because boy, I tell you what, Cliff Ronning certainly did.
Well, but how about head coach Scott Gomez, former Surrey Eagle as well? Saw obviously lots of success in the NHL, and like you said, the development path and the proof is in the pudding. But you mentioned Cliff Ronning, but how about that bucket from Cliff Ronning? I kind of wish we still had some of those. Love to see those old Jofa-style helmets. Obviously, the blue as well, a nice touch with the blue jerseys. Really love to see the no helmets and the old style helmets. I haven't seen very many wood sticks, which I thought maybe we would, but I guess not. But no wooden twigs out there.
That also surprises me. You'd think they'd play with what they.
If you're going to have a Jofa on, you might as well have a wooden stick.
Or no bucket at all.
Or
I mean,
that
no
screams
bucket. Wooden stick right there. Of course, we should also mention the coaching staff. Darcy Rota will be the head coach for the Canucks alumni team, and that's super cool to see part of that 1982 Stanley Cup final Canucks team. And also a nice guy to speak to before the game, so we'll see what kind of expertise he can lend behind the bench.
Had a chat with Darcy Rota before the game as well, and man, really nice guy. And obviously, talk about the Stanley Cup run and all the stuff that comes with that, but so humble and was really just nice to talk to. Really nice guy, and I'm hoping we're going to be able to get an interview with him later in the game. We'll see if we can, or if we're able to do that. I know obviously he's got lots to do down there. He wants to coach this team to a win. See if he's able to do that.
We'll take a super brief break here before we have our player introductions, as well as we'll have a ceremonial puck drop in just a few short moments. We'll have them lining up now, and so we will get into a bit of the introductions now. Of course, where to start for this incredible Canucks alumni roster that we've got here. We'll start with that first line. Cliff Ronning. What to be said about Cliff Ronning that hasn't already been said? Currently, he is working in the BCHL as the skills coach for the Powerwall River Kings, but of course, had an illustrious hockey career. 1991 World Championship silver. Now played for the Blues, Canucks, Coyotes, Predators, Kings, Wild, and Islanders. Talk about getting around. Wore an assistant or an alternate captain there for Nashville, and had a nearly 400 games for Vancouver, 366, over 1,000 games in the NHL with 870 points. So a truly incredible career there for Cliff Ronning. Starting over on that left side, and there centering him, BJ McDonald. Taken in the 6th round by the LA Kings back in 1973, and he actually started in the WHA before switching to the NHL. He was part of the Edmonton Oilers back when they were in the WHA, played alongside Wayne Gretzky, and then came over in that reclamation draft where the Oilers came back to the NHL, and then also played for the Canucks 88 games, and also captained the Oilers back in 1981. The last player on that first line is Dean Moore, and Dean Moore was a left-handed defenseman, but he'll be playing forward tonight. Primarily played in the ECHL and SPHL, and played for 18 different professional teams. So talk about really being able to fit in just about anywhere.
And obviously, when you talk about Dean Moore, you talk about him being a defenseman, but as a forward, I mean, tonight he might be very effective. He knows exactly what defensemen don't like to see. I expect him to pull some tricks out of his bag.
Certainly he shall. Now, starting on the left wing on the second line, Nathan Lafayette was drafted in the 3rd round, 65th overall by the St. Louis Blues in 1991. Won World Juniors Gold in 1993 before starting his pro career playing for the Blues, Canucks, Rangers, and Kings. 187 games played in the NHL, 38 of which was right here for your Vancouver Canucks. Centering him, Neil Eisenhut. Of course, Neil, another player here who has just about been able to do it all. He was a 3-year BCHL vet before playing 4 years in NCAA with the University of North Dakota. He actually played alongside Gary Falk for all 4 years at North Dakota. Was taken in the 12th round back when the draft went that long. 233rd overall by the Canucks. Played for both Vancouver and the Flames, 16 games in the NHL, but also had well over point per game in the BCHL. Really, really great showing there, and spent a long time playing in the American League.
134 points in 105 BCHL games. And if you don't think that takes some effort, takes some skill, I know it's been a while since that happened. I have a feeling that we're going to see lots of goals from Mr. Neil Eisenhut.
And over on that right wing, Matt Keith was taken 59th overall in the 2nd round of the Chicago Blackhawks. He played for both Chicago and the New York Islanders and spent most of his time in the AHL, but played 30 games in the NHL, and interestingly enough, ended off his career as captain for the Braehead Clan of the EIHL back in England, although that team based in Scotland, the league based in England. And so cool to see some international representation for the professional careers, as well as a little bit of NHL rep there for Matt Keith. That is the second line over there. And now Doug Lynch as well. And then actually, we'll quickly start on the right wing there because John Craighead, we got that right here. And John Craighead, aside from having the best hair tonight, I don't think anyone's going to be able to...
It's not even close. The best hair has to go to John Craighead.
Exactly. 4 years BCHL veteran, 2 of which was with the Surrey Eagles. Played for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well, spending a lot of time in the AHL and EIHL as well. And you don't want to put a player into a box, but I'm going to give you one stat here, and you can tell me what kind of player you think you might have been. 2,494 penalty minutes for John Craighead across all of his professional time in all different pro careers. So if there's one player tonight that might drop the mitts, it could very well be him.
Well, I was going to say, unfortunately, they don't really have the enforcer role in the NHL anymore, but definitely back in John Craighead's day, they definitely did. And when you talk about OG Surrey Eagles, you don't get much more original than John Craighead. In the very first inaugural season for the Surrey Eagles back in 1991, really excited to see him back here in the old stomping grounds.
Centering that line will be Doug Lynch, who won the Ed Chenoweth Cup with the Red Deer Rebels in 2001. It was taken in the second round by the Edmonton Oilers. Played briefly for the Oilers before primarily spending his time in the AHL, but also represented Team Canada not once but twice in the Spengler Cup in both 2006 and 2012. So being able to represent your country on an international stage, and especially one as fun as the Spengler Cup out in Switzerland, really cool for Doug Lynch. Then looking over to that back end, the one, the only, the man with the mustache, Dave Babych, who's currently Assistant Director of Player Personnel for your Vancouver Canucks, but had a very great playing career, won silver medal in the World Championship 1989 before being taken second overall by the Winnipeg Jets, after being taken second overall by the Winnipeg Jets. Played for Winnipeg, Hartford, Philadelphia, LA, but especially Vancouver. That's where he spent most of his career. 409 games played for the Vancouver Canucks, including being an alternate captain. Had 8 points in that 1994 Stanley Cup playoff run, where they went all the way to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And
the most important thing for me, how about the best mustache possibly on the planet Earth? I mean, that is a great mustache for Dave Babych. It's the mustache I wish I had. I'll tell you what, his skating speed might have slowed down over the years, but that mustache hasn't. You can see it all the way from up here. Absolutely beautiful. Over on his other side of the defensive pairing, Jim Vandermeer, who also won an Ed Chenoweth Cup with the Red Deer Rebels as the captain. Played for 6 different NHL teams. Wore an alternate captain for one season each with the Blackhawks and Oilers. Just under 500 games played for Jim Vandermeer in the NHL. Next up, of course, We'll go with Sean Crowther on that back end. And, of course, Crowther played for several different teams around here, but primarily we want to focus right here at home. The New West Royals, before they became the Eagles, he spent 2 seasons here, had 131 games played in the BCHL, 82 points there, and also was the coach of the Coquitlam Express for 3 years between 2002 and 2005. Yeah, one of our mainland rivals, obviously. We love Ian Wilson of the Coquitlam Express. We spent a lot of time playing against Coquitlam. I know me and you, Zach, have spent a lot of time in Poirier Arena ourselves, so good to see some Express players getting some love as well, or I should say an Express coach. And incredibly, we have a trade. It looks like these teams are swapping. We're going to have a 4-person trade. I'm hearing right now from the booth back at the station that there's multiple players and potentially draft picks involved as well. We're going to have Greg Mueller, Mark Lofthouse, Brian Richardson, and Phil Von Stefanelli from the alumni team heading over to the Eagles in return for Siwon Kim, Ryan Motto, Brandon Gill, Jackson Anderson, and a first-round draft pick in 2029. Yeah, there you go, and probably some future considerations as well. I think I'd imagine going both ways. Yeah, futures, you forgot the fine print there, but what a good trade for the alumni team. I mean, that's a lot of offensive firepower with Siwon Kim, Ryan Motto, and Brendan Gill. And obviously, you got the two-way defenseman in Jackson Anderson. Could be making a cup run with this team. Well, you know, we talk about the average age of the team being a little bit high for the Canucks alumni. Well, they've brought that right down, an infusion of speed and skill there, and back the other way. This Surrey Eagles team, they lack the experience. Well, they don't lack it anymore with Greg Mueller, Mark Lofthouse, Brian Richardson, and Phil Von Stefanelli. And now with those trades done, we should get into that roster. Well, I was just about to say, why don't we get to the players we just mentioned? Now, Greg Mueller was probably the most interesting one for me personally to research. He had a solid career in the German Pro League, spent 2 years in the DEL, but right now is a professional poker player at an incredibly high level. Played in the World Poker Tour for several years, and his highest place was 4th place in the World Poker Tour. He is nicknamed FBT, short for full-blown tilt. How awesome is that? And has estimated over $3 million in poker earnings through his time in the World Poker Tour. So how cool is that, going from a professional hockey player to a professional poker player? This guy clearly is competitive and also knows how to win. And well, if you're asking me, I got a lot of respect for poker players. I cannot play poker for the life of me. It's such a hard game, but obviously seems to be doing pretty well for Greg Mueller. Certainly is, and he will be on the left wing, centered by Mark Lofthouse, who played 1 year in the BCHL and was taken 21st overall by the Washington Capitals back in 1977.
played 200 games, just under 200 games in the NHL, and he had a successful pro career. Won the AHL Calder Cup, and just before turning pro, won the Memorial Cup in the CHL. Played over 500 games in the AHL for Mark Lofthouse.
Well, you want to talk about accolades. Obviously, you think of head coach Scott Gomez. I mean, you got a lot of names in these rosters, but Mark Lofthouse, a lot of silverware for him as well.
And on that right side will be Brian Richardson. He spent 4 years of NCAA with RPI, and then went over to the ECHL and AHL, played over 300 ECHL games. And then on that back end, the last player involved in the trade, aside from future considerations, of course, was Phil Von Stefanelli, the only person to play for one of the teams I support in the NHL. The Ottawa Senators played for 6 games for the Senators, as well as 27 games for the Boston Bruins. Was teammates with Dave Tomlinson for all 4 years of Boston Uni there at NCAA, which is an interesting little fact there. And of course, while he might not have played for the Vancouver Canucks, he did play for the Hamilton Canucks back when that was the Vancouver's AHL affiliate at the time. And another guy that, while he might have just had kind of a cup of tea in the NHL, 33 games played, he spent a huge amount of time in pro leagues with 275 games in the AHL and 400 in the DEL. And just before we get to the rest of the player introductions, we do now go to our ceremonial face-off. Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke will say a few words before the start of today's game, and the ceremonial puck drop will be with Scott Gomez and Cliff Ronning. So we'd like to thank Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke so much for coming out and doing this here for the Eagles.
Yeah, really excited for this one. I'd also like to go over the Eagles who are out here on the ice tonight. You have Jagjeevan Fangura, Miles Bergen, Savik Rar, Sam Elliott, Massimo Fazio, Carter Franco, who had an amazing game last night, and obviously Jaden Sharma in net tonight for the Surrey Eagles. Almost a bit of a comeback for him, as he's been hurt during the regular season for the Surrey Eagles, but getting some new ice tonight, getting back on the ice tonight to play against some former Vancouver Canucks and former NHLers, so good to see Jaden Sharma back in his equipment.
No, certainly. And we didn't intend to save the best for last, but that is how it's broken down. As the last man we need to introduce, it really needs no introduction. Kirk McLean, one of the most famous names in Vancouver, backstopped an incredible 1994 Cup run. During that run, .928 save percentage and a .229 goals against average, which would be an incredible run by today's standards. But back in that time, scoring was even higher. He had 4 shutouts in that run alone. He's in the Canucks Ring of Honor. He was a goaltending coach for the Avalanche. He's second in basically every goaltending stat for Vancouver, behind, of course, Roberto Luongo.
Well, if you ask certain people, one of which being my dad, Kirk McLean is the best Vancouver Canuck goalie to ever do it. And really excited to get to see him come out here. Once again, he will be playing defense tonight, won't be playing in net, so I'm excited to see what he can do with the puck on his stick.
I'll tell you one thing I think he always had Roberto Luongo beat. That was style. Kirk McLean, one of the best goaltenders out there, flashy glove saves, of course.
The pads.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You can picture it, and you can picture the call, the highlights, everything from that 94 Cup run, and we'll see what kind of magic he's able to replicate here tonight at South Surrey Arena.
I was going to say, maybe we'll get some of that 94 magic back from Kirk McLean as a defenseman this time.
Yeah, any incredible shot blocks. We'll see if he goes
I
don't know
how many shot blocks and hits we're going to get out here tonight, but I hope we see some.
Yeah, I'm expecting perhaps not tight back checking in today's game. We'll see how happy the coaches are with the performance.
Yeah, I could see Darcy Rota really chewing into the Canucks here about not having the back check, so we'll have to see.
And we'll go now to ice level for Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke.
I want to take just one moment and thank the entire Surrey Eagles organization for all they do for the city of Surrey, for delivering us a champion team last year, yeah? And especially to the Brar family for everything they do for our city, for giving back the way they do. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you all. Have a great game, everybody, and enjoy.
That was Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke saying a few kind words about the Surrey Eagles, as well as the Brar family, who chip in so much here for the local community. And now we will have our ceremonial puck drop between Scott Gomez and Cliff Ronning. And I tell you what, if this was a matchup between their primes, that's a face-off for the ages.
Yeah, that's a really good face-off. Like you said, head coach Scott Gomez and Cliff Ronning. I kind of hope that's the face-off at the beginning of the game as well.
That right there is a face-off with over 2,000 NHL games played combined, and that's not too shabby.
Yeah, it's not too shabby at all, and obviously some hardware between the two as well, especially head coach Scott Gomez with his 2 Stanley Cup rings.
And we'll take a short break here for our Canadian National Anthem. I'm Zach Clarke, he's Liam Higgs. We'll be back in just a moment.
On the National Anthem.
From SSA, Canucks Alumni, Surrey Eagles, starting now and starting in between the pipes for the respective sides. For the Canucks Alumni, it'll be Shaz Hamani, and if we're going off the most recent stats, 5th Division of Beer League out at Planet Ice Coquitlam. Hey, he had a 928 though, so say what you will. Those are pretty nice numbers. Regardless of age, a 928 is always solid.
Yeah, better than my Beer League stats, that's for sure. Obviously, 928, nothing to be scoffed at, but how about Jaden Sharma tonight? Obviously, we mentioned, hasn't played that much this season. He's been absolutely fantastic when he was playing during this season. Obviously, going back to his win out in George Preston in the shootout where he made lots of big saves. Obviously, Zach, you know him from last year as well, backing up Gundara, one of the best 1-2 punches in the BCHL. So good to see him back here and ready to play at the Nest.
Couldn't be more excited for this one as we have the lines ready to go after that massive trade broke just moments before the game. And I think the starting lineup shall be at the top. So it will be Ty Westgard, Scott Gomez, and Ryan Evenhouse. A mixture of Eagles, old and new, all of whom have actually played as Surrey Eagles at different points, although none of them have yet played together as none of their junior careers intersected for the Canucks Alumni. Cliff Ronning, BJ McDonald, and Dean Moore are those opening forward core. So could not be more excited to see the energy level of which this game is going to start.
Yeah, and when you talk about that first line for the Surrey Eagles team, Ty Westgard, Scott Gomez, and Ryan Evenhouse, all former Eagles. I would say for Scott Gomez and Ryan Evenhouse, very kind of similar kind of play styles, the smaller skill kind of guys. I'm excited to see this line go to work. And then obviously Carter Franco, it looks like, is going to be the starting defenseman for the Eagles side, one of which, and I believe it's going to be him and Jovan Brar on the, or sorry, it's going to be Josh Wessels and Carter Franco. So a little bit of a veteran pair back there for the Surrey Eagles team.
And it will be Doug Lynch actually taking this opening faceoff here for the Alumni, but Scott Gomez wins the opening draw there for his team. Immediately a smile for head coach as, hey, he's not lost it. Westgard drops it back to Franco. He'll send it across for Wessels. Long saucer pass was intended for Gomez, but it's picked off by Vandermeer. The Canucks Alumni showing their hockey IQ early on.
You can see already the battle from head coach Scott Gomez in the corner. He's going to practice what he preaches. I expect him to win those puck battles pretty consistently.
Oh, he wants his players to play with intensity. He's going to have to as well. Puck shot around to the left-hand side. Ryan Evenhouse going to get to it first, just outside the Surrey Eagles bench. He'll stop up, dodges that check from Lynch, and drops it back for Wessels. 45 seconds gone in this one, and the Eagles hemmed in their own end by the expertise of the Alumni.
And you see already those veteran, they don't have to be very fast. They know where the pucks are going to go before they get there.
Chance out in front, Deke scores! An early goal for Cliff Ronning!
There it is from Cliff Ronning, and it's there, it's early for him. That's a goal scorer's goal right there. That's exactly what you expect to see from Cliff Ronning. Just backdoor, easy little tuck right behind Jaden Sharma. Jaden Sharma obviously coming out expecting, BCHL, you're going to get a shot there. But when you got the NHL skill of Cliff Ronning, see that those stick handles inside of a phone booth there, and he gets this one off to a quick start. First shot of the game.
306 goals in the NHL, and one here tonight from the South Surrey Arena for Cliff Ronning.
I think you see why he scored all those goals. Just knows where the puck's going to be in a perfect place at the perfect time.
And back the other way, first save of the game there for Shaz Hamani as he'll shut the door on the Eagles trying to go 5-hole. And the Alumni quickly return.
It is funny to see all the different styles of helmet we have out here tonight. I do love that so much. Obviously, Lafayette wearing a bit of a cage, and then obviously you got some visors out there. You got a couple of no visors out there. All we need is someone with no bucket at all.
Yeah, Dave Babych wishes he could not have one on. He's one of the no visors.
Oh, wow. We got a
bit of
snow
a shot
spray.
there.
I believe that was Greg Mueller.
Indeed it was. Greg Mueller, full-blown tilt getting in there early. And with a nickname like that, he's going to be trying to mix it up.
Yeah, he's already trying to mix it up with the bench as well. You can see John Craighead having some words for Mueller there. And I don't know, Zach, this one might get ugly.
It's heating up. You can tell the intensity of this game. It's only a matter of time before it boils over. Nathan Lafayette, the ex-Canuck, carries it up the right side. He'll chip it ahead for Gill. Brandon Gill back to Lafayette as those two play give and go. Lafayette dekes out in front, and it's Gill once again. He'll bank a pass back to Sean Crowther at the left point. He'll stop, puts one towards the net, hoping for the redirection from Lafayette. That just doesn't connect. Now another opportunity, slid down low. Trying to get that one back out in front, but some good defense being played here by the Eagles.
Finally, this is what the Eagles have to do. They got to use their youth here.
Racing down the side, gets it out in front. Fangura didn't have a shooting chance. They'll play it back to Babych Brar. Brar wheels and deals at the hash marks before playing it back up to the blue line. Jovan Brar. Across, the shot comes through. Fazio and the doorstep, and he's robbed in tight by Shaz Hamani. Shuts the door on Brar in tight and keeps this game a 1-0 score.
And that's what the Eagles have to do. They got to use their speed to enter the zone and try and tire out these veterans. You can tell these veterans, they might do things a little bit slower than they used to, but they know what they're doing. They know where to be on the ice, and so the Eagles got to find a way to take advantage of that youth and that speed. Good break in that time around, able to get a good chance on goal. And like you said, Zach, they've been hemmed in their own end for a majority of this first period so far.
Dumped in by Moore, but quickly brought back the other way by the Eagles. Franku steers it forward. Westgard races across the line. Cuts to the right side. Back out in front. Now to the point. Carter Franku sends it up the middle. Chance developing. Franku takes it back to the net. Hamani again shuts the door with the goal stick.
And Manny, so far early in this one, showing why he has a .928. Recently in his beer league division is right there. 3 or 4 great saves to start the game for him.
Dean Moore able to shovel that one back to Jim Vandermeer on the defense. The ex-Shark, among other teams, will play it back the other way. And Wessels looks to evade Motto. Pass comes across. Scott Gomez feeds that across to Evenhouse. Now just caught offside. And netminder Hamani making sure the linesman got that one.
Already got some nice headman passes from assistant coach Mike Motto.
It's Ronning building up speed, and the shot comes wide.
And Ronning doesn't look like he's missed much of a step as of late.
His centering pass to Craighead, and you weren't kidding, his hair barely fitting in the helmet there. Talk about flow. Here comes Lofthouse. Stomps at the right side hash marks, puts it up the middle, but it's Craighead with a brilliant defensive play to shut down that chance.
And probably the best back check we've seen tonight so far. That was wide open in the slot. Good back check there from Craighead.
Running with it again, puts it towards the net. Sharma steers it aside. Craighead gets that loose puck first. He'll play it across to Eisenhut. Now back out to Ronning below the goal line. Ronning looks for the wraparound, puts it in front, and it's Scott Gomez who's able to intercept for the Eagles.
And I'm just so impressed so far with Cliff Ronning. I mean, I know it might not be necessarily at the same speed he used to do it, but you can tell that's definitely Cliff Ronning out there already making a big impact on this one.
To me, it looks like he's got a few years left of his prime.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Splits up another pass there as Cliff Ronning all over the ice with that bright blue helmet.
You can't miss the Jofa. It's just always there.
Vandermeer takes out the Eagle. Looking down low there. Getting back to his feet was Evenhouse after being leveled by the Alumni in this game. Then, it's getting chippy.
And like I said, I mean, if the Eagles start to get a little bit too fancy, a little bit too much speed, I'm sure that the veterans aren't going to be scared to get a little physical with the young ones.
Kim feeds Lynch on the back door, out in front again to Kim, and just couldn't handle the pass. Lynch does, he'll stop, puts it back up top. Vandermeer loads up to the net, running, rubbed by Sharma. He tried to go 5-hole on Jaden Sharma, and squeezing the pads tight, he'll keep it 1-0.
And look at that chemistry between Vandermeer and Cliff Ronning. It's a backdoor pass right here. I mean, this looks like a Stanley Cup final kind of setup play right here at the side of the net. It's a little bit of a deflection right on goal. Catches Jaden Sharma a little bit by surprise. Good job by him dragging that back foot. He's able to keep it out of the back of the net. But Cliff Ronning almost with his second goal of the game already.
12:45 left in the first frame of play. 1-0 for the Canucks Alumni.
And we're going to see Babych stepping on the ice now.
And see what he's able to get done as Greg Mueller cuts loose in front. Full-blown tilt feeds the blue line. Jovan Brar, his long shot blocked in front by his teammate Gill, but he'll collect it again. Brar down low to Mueller, trying to put it up the middle. Chance comes in front and it's blocked. Miles Bergen looking to tie things at 1, but the shot goes out of play.
And you don't need speed when you can set up things like that. Brian Richardson, what a nice little saucer pass out from behind the net, and you get to see some good hockey there. They set up the cycle down low. Real nice pass right out into the slot. That one gets deflected wide. Another good chance there for the Eagles team.
They'll look to get back to the offensive here. It's Nathan Lafayette who's able to get the puck off the draw. The Alumni will send things the other direction. Shots are 5-3 in favor of the Eagles, but Shaz Amani's been rock solid for the Alumni in that crease. And he might have to again here as the Eagles gaining momentum. Greg Mueller down the left side, back up to the point. Carter Franke has it at the right side hash marks. He'll play it back to Mueller as those two give and go. Mueller, a feed for Wessels. In tight, the backhand goes off the crossbar as flashing the leather there was Amani. Might have gotten a piece of it.
And what a backhander there from Brian Richardson. That was incredible right there. And again, I have to stress the skill in this game. I know that, again, it might not be happening at the pace it used to, but you can really see that these guys were definitely NHLers back in their time. I mean, that was the side of the net, just a quick little backhand, and that was a really dangerous opportunity. Like you said, Zach, another nice save from Hamani.
Brian Richardson had 132 tucks in the ECHL, and with a backhand like that, I'm shocked it wasn't more. Here's Keith, the right side blue line for the Canucks Alumni. He'll spin one down low. Dean Moore gets to work in the corner, and he'll win that battle. Across to Sean Crowther. Crowther in the dirty areas, gets it to Moore in front on the doorstep, goes around the net for the wraparound. It's stopped, the rebound's loose, and that's kept aside by Jaden Sharma. We'll have another stop.
And obviously lots of smart hockey players out here just getting that puck into a dangerous area. It's a bit of a broken play out front, and Jaden Sharma able to find that loose puck, and he makes a really nice save right on the doorstep. I believe that was Ryan Motto with the shot.
Face-off one clean by Keith for the Alumni. Back up to the blue line. That one tipped in front. Sharma with another save as we hit the 10-minute mark here of the first. Keeps it 1-0 for the Alumni.
Yeah, nice tippable puck right there as that one was deflected on goal. Jaden Sharma, another nice save.
Another face-off, this time won by the Eagles. Starting to come the other way as Jagjeevan Fangur will carry it across the line. Drops it in front. The Eagles building. Save it. Brar, the shot's blocked by Crowther. We said we might not see too many shot blocks here, but Sean Crowther committed to playing a stalwart level of defense.
Yeah, obviously a 200-foot game. You get a bit of a back check into a shot block there. I'm sure the Richmond Sockeyes would be proud of their former alum, or I should say their alum.
Andy Williger turns around to try to check save Brar. Williger knocks the puck off Brar. That's some beautiful defense there from Andy Williger, who played 6 years of ACAC, including winning the championship in 2012 with Northern Alberta Institute of Technology.
Oh, and a nice poke check there from Mike Motto onto his son Ryan Motto, and you can see right there the dad's strength just takes that puck clean off of his son.
Oh, look out, Surrey Eagles. It's Cliff Ronning with the puck once again.
You can see the hustle there from Cliff Ronning as he gets into that puck very quickly.
Back come the Alumni. Andy Williger over on the far side will carry it across the blue line. Drop pass finds Craighead to the net. It's blocked by the Eagles. Ronning couldn't hang on to that one as Mark Lofthouse begins the counterattack here for the Eagles. Lofthouse tips it in front. Fazio shoots. He scores! Massimo Fazio evens it up for the Surrey Eagles. We're tied at 1.
And that's just another smart play, just slowing it down a little bit there was Mark Lofthouse, and he finds a really nice pass right into the slot. And you see here on the replay, just Cliff Ronning on the back check, can't get a stick on it, and Massimo Fazio just finding that open space in the slot, able to get to that puck first. And Manny a little bit deep in his crease, gets beat blocker side.
Right back come the Alumni. Eisenhut looking for the top corner, but it's Jaden Sharma flashing the weather.
And that's got to feel good if you're Jaden Sharma. A little bit of a how do you do there on Neil Eisenhut, former Canuck, former NHLer. You're staring right down the barrel, and you make one heck of a glove save right there.
The former 3-year BCHL veteran unable to crack the current BCHL netminder Sharma, who made that one look beautiful. A bit of a Carey Price flash of the mitten there, and back comes Westgard across to Lofthouse, unloads, and that's right into the mitten of Hamani, as he'll show he's not the only goaltender who can flash the leather.
Yeah, another nice break-in as these teams continue to go back and forth. Obviously, hasn't been a lot of defense in this game so far, so we've had a decent amount of shots, and both goaltenders so far making good saves left and right.
Cliff Ronning lines up against Westgard. That one tipped back. Eisenhut gets to work on the forecheck on the left side. He'll shovel it back to the corner. Mueller there first for the Surrey Eagles. He'll send that down the rink for an icing call. We'll head back the other way.
I believe that's our first icing and might even be our first offside of the period here. Obviously, once again, runtime periods. Going to be 20 minutes still, but still runtime periods. And I believe we're not going to get a first intermission because it will be replaced by the skills comp, but we will be having a second intermission.
Now we shall, and we'll do a bit of a reprise of Eagles Central. I believe we're going to get Tommaso Front to do up here. And
that will be for the second period.
Indeed it shall. Here's Mueller. Tips that one off the far half wall into the Canucks Alumni end. Vandermeer beats out Evenhouse to that one. He'll steer it to Cliff Ronning. Ronning able to dump that one in. Sharma races for it. Looking to spring Evenhouse for a rush the other way, but it's Vandermeer who gets there first. Takes a bit of a stick to the glove there from Mueller. We'll have the puck knocked back into the Alumni end as Vandermeer looks to spin it across the outside. 5:40 left to go in the first. We're tied at 1 goal each. Shots are 6-5 in favor of the Eagles. And looking to change that, Scott Gomez, the head coach, across the blue line. He'll backhand it down low. Mueller picks it up. Something's brewing here for the Eagles. Gomez up high. Franku to the left-hand side. Josh Wessels to the net. Stopped by Hamani. Another robbery for Shaz Hamani between the pipes, and John Craighead looks to start the rush as he'll play it back to Vandermeer.
Now what a nice setup there. Maybe that was one that head coach Scott Gomez drew up before the game here. Is really nice setup for that low deflection in front. Good save from Hamani.
Ronning gets it to Lafayette, who was trying to tip it 5-hole, and Sharma had to be quick. Now Ronning on the doorstep, robbed by Sharma. Cliff Ronning, looking for his second of the game, is stymied by Sharma.
And Cliff Ronning just out there hunting. He's all over the puck. It feels like he's got a nose for the puck. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. Obviously, you just look at his NHL career, look at those stats. But out here tonight, he's all over the ice for the Blue.
Siwon Kim will take this draw against Sam Elliott. Elliott able to come out on top. Now they're going to look to spring a rush the other way as Miles Bergen across the line. His pocket picked, and now Dave Babych has the puck. launches a long pass across to Lynch. That just hopped over his twig, and Sharma will send it right back down the ice. This one's going to be icing against the netminder, Jaden Sharma, looking to play that one just a bit too far up the ice.
I'm waiting for a Dave Babych clap bomb from the blue line. I'd love to see it.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, right? I'd love to see it, see if we can get one of those. Starts with a good face-off win here, and obviously I believe it's going to be Doug Lynch taking the face-off. Or sorry, it's going to be Siwon Kim taking the face-off. Not something he does very often for the Eagles. See if he can win it against teammate Sam Elliott.
And he did that right there to Lynch, who puts it at the middle. Kim on the rebound to Lafayette, and he won't go! Sliding across is Sharma to shut down Nathan Lafayette on what looked to be a sure tally.
A sure tally. I talked about how smart Siwon Kim is, especially with the puck on his stick. 34 assists this season in 43 games, 48 points, and what a setup right there. One extra pass. Nice save from Sharma.
Babych sets up this play. Kim across to Lynch. Has Babych in front. That one knocked down by the defender, Mike Motto. The assistant coach here for the Eagles showing that, hey, if Scott Gomez is going to play hard, I've got to as well. Now Kim takes it right back on the backhand to Lafayette. And no goal is ruled as Sharma got across in time. It looked like the puck was in, but Sharma keeps it out.
And Mike Motto right there just beat to the spot by his man. I believe that was Nathan Lafayette. It was Lafayette. Really nice setup once again from the Canucks alumni team. As some nice passing, and Jaden Sharma showing that athleticism gets over Mike Motto. A little bit slow on the back check there. Couldn't get to the puck.
Miles Bergen drops one up for Sam Elliott as the Eagles look to take their first lead of the night. Kim steers his teammate hard into the boards. No love lost between those two there. Phil Von Stefanelli keeps it onside at the left blue line. Hooks it back in front for Brian Richardson. He's skating out in top. Richardson tipped in front, and a strong defensive stick in front there by Nathan Lafayette. Now Elliott again for Bergen. The shot on goal turned aside by Hamani. Rebound picked up by Richardson. The Eagles are buzzing. Von Stefanelli dangles through the defense. Back out in front. Bergen to the net. It's blocked again. Lafayette looking at
the
things
back
the other way,
check.
but Von Stefanelli, he's everywhere. Able to get back up to the blue line to keep things in play for the Eagles, and he'll find Richardson. Those two just won't be beat. Now Bergen on the doorstep, outweighs the goaltender, and no goal! Do you believe what Shaz Hamani can do?
I'm not sure if it was Shaz Hamani who made that save or if it was Jackson Anderson clearing it off the goal line. Either way, we talk about hockey being a game of inches. I don't think you get much closer than that one right there.
I'm not sure that one was much further than a game of millimeters on that play. And now back the other way, Lynch looking to steady things here for the Canucks alumni. He'll find Gill, spins in the corner, looking to connect with Kim. That pass broken up by the goal scorer, Massimo Fazio.
I had Savik Brar there leaving the zone early. Obviously, Savik Brar, if anyone's going to drop the mitts versus a Canucks alumni, I would expect it to be Savik Brar. We'll have to see if he can pull that off tonight.
Durheim, a bank pass, just past Fazio on the far side. They'll get it out to center. A smart veteran play there from Crowther. It'll go off the glass and out. Fangura, however, carries it back in as we hit the final minute of play. Massimo Fazio wheels and deals in the corner. Down low, and the net is off its mooring. So we'll have another stoppage here. And we'll have to get this face-off quick because, of course, this is run time. We've only got 40 seconds to go.
And a little bit of deja vu here at the Nest. It does feel like the net comes off quite a bit here at the Nest. Had that happen a couple nights or a couple times last night. And especially the net that Jaden Sharma is currently in. Obviously, the side that the Eagles come out of, that one does tend to come off quite a bit.
We'll see how head coach Darcy Rota feels about his team's performance, tied at 1 through 20 minutes.
I've been really excited with some of the hustle we've seen from some of those veterans.
Another chance in front. Fangura blocked, and the rebound saved by Hamani. Looked like the Eagles were going to get one last chance, and it's still 5 seconds to go. Can the chance come from the blue line? It's played to the corner, and that'll do it for the first. The alumni escape a late escapade from the Surrey Eagles, and we'll head to the intermission tied at 1.
And like you said, I think Darcy Rota would be pretty happy with that performance. We saw some nice back checks. We saw a good 200-foot game there from the Canucks alumni, and we talked a little bit before the game how we thought this one might be a pretty high score, might get a 10-8 game, something like that. Only 1-1 to start the first.
It's got
or to start the
playoff
second.
hockey atmosphere written all over it. The intensity for these two teams off the charts, but now they're going to have to focus just as hard, but less so on the team game and more so
about
now
individual
on the
now.
individuality. It is a skills competition. I believe we're going to be starting with the fastest skater.
I do
We'll have to
believe that.
double-check that
I
one.
believe you're correct. I think it is going to be fastest skater.
And we'll see. We've talked about how we think some of these alumni can still fly. Cliff Ronning blazing past
I think
the
we've already
defense.
seen Cliff
We
Ronning
saw-
fly.
We saw Lafayette getting in there speedy as well. So we'll see what the alumni can do for this skills comp. You do have to imagine, if I was a gambling man, I'd be putting my money on the Surrey Eagles for the fastest skater. But boy, they've got some competition with these alumni.
It looks like we're going to get... so it looks like it's going to be all Eagles for the first race here. It's going to be Ryan Motto, Jackson Anderson, Carter Francu,
And that's why
and
they
Jovan
traded
Brar.
for them. We saw that trade pregame. They needed some speed. And this is why they needed that speed. It's
Smart play by Darcy Rota with
exactly.
the trade.
They're working in ways we could never possibly comprehend. Darcy Rota showing why he could be an NHL GM, making a crucial trade. Here is our first skill comps. Motto versus Francu, and we are off. Francu and Motto, a mad dash to the end of the rink. Francu starts around the corner just as Motto does the same. It looks like Francu's ahead by a step, and all across the line, I think Motto has it. And we'll see what the final decision is here as they're still going. Motto certainly got there first. Ryan Motto wins the first race here for the Canucks Alumni.
And you can see big smiles from Carter Francu and Ryan Motto. And you see why Ryan Motto's that tone setter, got that speed, loves to get physical. That was a real nice race between those two.
Now Jovan Brar and Jackson Anderson is a battle of the back end. Brar and Anderson, they are off. Brar quick off the gate.
Oh yeah,
but
I think
Anderson,
Jovan
he's
Brar
building
started
up
a bit
speed.
choppy.
Oh, Brar. You can tell he's striding for it, but I think Anderson was across the halfway point first. Half a lap left as they both go right behind the net. Anderson, a step in front. Anderson goes across the line backwards.
That's bad manners
Showing some
right
disrespect to his teammate Jovan Brar as undeniably Anderson makes this a 2-0 lead for the Canucks Alumni.
Throws out the backward skating, and we talked about how this game was getting intense. It was getting a little bit chippy. I don't know how you can hold your tongue now if you're the Surrey Eagles.
I've got to admit, I was wrong. I said earlier this game, I don't think we're going to see any backward skating in today's matchup, and right there we saw some from Jackson Anderson showing a bit of the how do you do on the fastest skaters comp, and we'll see. I think we're going to have some veterans going at it now. It's Greg Mueller, full-blown tilt for the Surrey Eagles.
And he's going to have to really own up to that namesake, full-blown tilt, as we'll see who's going to be his opponent, as it looked like
he was lining up for a moment. I thought that John Craighead was looking like he was going to challenge, but it seems like they might be having a discussion of exactly who's going to get out there. And I'd be scared to take on any of the names we've got, so I can't blame them for being hesitant.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't take on any of them, no matter how old they got. They're still going to be flying out there. I'm excited to see who it's going to be. There's still only a minute 20 left here before we get off on way with the second period.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be quick-paced here. We'll have a short break in the second just to have an ice cleaning, as of course with how hard these players are going. You know it's going to get choppy by the end of the second. That puck's barely going to be moving out there.
Yeah, you're going to have to get an ice clean and an ice flood, so we'll have a little bit of an Eagles Central in the second period. But I believe we're actually going to just kick off the second period here. That might be it for the skills comp.
I see what makes sense. We've seen a whole lot of skill there, and I mean the Canucks alumni, I think they've already clinched the win. Even if we did see one more, the alumni they've won.
Yeah, they've won the 2 of 3, and you talk about the trades that were made before. Darcy Rota, great acquisitions here right before the playoff run. Gets some extra speed in there, wins the skills comp.
And we talk about
handily.
not being afraid to spend draft picks, going out and dropping a huge first rounder on infusing your team with some youth and skill. That's genius from Darcy Rota. His team is in win now mode. The Canucks alumni are here to win tonight. They don't care about their futures. They want to get it done here.
Yeah, it's about a win now mentality, so they bring in some of that speed, some of that skill with the new Surrey Eagles, Siwon Kim, Ryan Motto, Brendan Gill, and then obviously Jackson Anderson, who just went out there and won the skills comp for them quite handily.
Yeah, no kidding. So as the clock ticks down, looks like we are ready to go here for our second period. from South Surrey Arena. Time flies when you're having fun. We're through 20. The score tied at 1 goal apiece as Cliff Ronning opened it up for the Canucks Alumni, but that was quickly answered by Massimo Fazio for the Surrey Eagles. Shots are 10-9 in favor of the Eagles, just leading by 1 thanks to that late game flurry. And we'll see what the second period has in store as these two teams are in a fierce battle to break the deadlock we find ourselves in, tied at 1.
Yeah, it looks like the new coach for the Surrey Eagles, obviously head coach Scott Gomez, is on the ice, so he can't be coaching. It looks like back there is Cam Karen leading the bench, so wonder what kind of message is being sent for the Surrey Eagles. Obviously, you got a little bit of disrespect there from Jackson Anderson. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a real physical 20 minutes here.
I see a few names we recognize back there, including Tommaso Frontadou, so we'll have to ask him what his view has been from the bench when we do hit our brief second intermission. But for now, the second period ready to get underway as Greg Mueller lines up to take on BJ McDonald in this opening draw. And McDonald, a clean face-off win. That's as easy as it comes there for BJ McDonald.
That's that veteran tech right there, obviously being able to win face-offs.
He steals. McDonald couldn't get it in the top shelf, just over the bar, looking for his first of the game. And BJ does it his way. He'll take it right back, hooks it up in front, but the defender had come down to join the play, and there's no one home. That pass will make it all the way back to the netminder, Shaz Hamani.
I told you, offense is the name of the game. You know who that defender was? Kirk McLean, trying to get in on the play offensively. Gets himself a little bit out of position there.
You weren't kidding in your pregame analysis when you said that ex-netminder wouldn't be helping out the current netminder. He wants goals. And goals are what they're looking for right now as the puck's handled in the offensive end by Siwon Kim. Played back out across the line. Kirk McLean puts it towards the net. That shot's blocked, but Vandermeer keeps it in play for the Alumni. That is until his pocket is picked. The Eagles looking to come right back the other way as Mark Lofthouse begins the rush. They were caught offside for a moment. That's going to allow the Alumni a bit of time to recover in their own end. Here's Kirk McLean, the one and only. What a feed to Cliff Ronning as the two ex-teammates connect. Now Keith across the line looks for McDonald in front, and he didn't have a shot. Caught in his backhand. McDonald, what a move to the net, shoots, and Sharma swallows it whole.
And what a setup there from the Canucks, as there are, I should say the Canucks Alumni, is it's a really nice setup pass that starts with a great stretch pass from the one and only Kirk McLean. He gets it up there. Nice give and go between Cliff Ronning and Matt Keith. And then you got a nice move there from McDonald as he was able to take that one right down the slot. Nice save from Jaden Sharma.
The Canucks Alumni, they're feeling the blood in the water. Lynch puts it on net, doesn't make it through traffic. He'll get it right back. Lynch stops, shoots. It's tipped in front, but Sharma finds it nonetheless.
Wow, Jaden Sharma going to play that one. A little bit risky there.
He'll keep it in play. Wants to steer it across to Mike Motto. Motto battling in the corner against some players he knows well. Evenhouse looking to help him out. Quite the scrum we've got here as Lynch will not be moved, and finally Evenhouse digs that loose and finds his head coach Scott Gomez. 2 Stanley Cups, and you can see why as he disses it right back to the defense, but it's mishandled. Back comes Doug Lynch in a 2-on-1. Lynch slows down, stops to the back door, and it's tipped wide. What a defensive stick from Mike Motto, as that's some perfect 2-on-1 defending. We talk about what you want to do in a 2-on-1, and that's take the passing option. Motto did just that, shuts it down.
And we talked about the veteran mentality, knowing what to do in certain situations. It's a perfect example of it right there.
Scott Gomez sends it across to the right point for Jovan Brar. He'll hook it back down low. Evenhouse alone in front to the back door. Gomez, and that shot's blocked by Andy Williger. And back comes Williger. He just had a shot block. Now he wants some offense. He'll slow down for his team to catch up. Hooks it around for Cliff Ronning. He's already had 1 goal tonight. Sets up another in front. Lafayette denied by the pad of Sharma. What a chance. Siwon Kim keeping this puck in play. Dangles for Lafayette, and another glove robbery by Jaden Sharma. Lafayette stonewalled by the Eagles netminder.
So close yet so far for Nathan Lafayette. It's been 3 or 4 chances now. Backdoor, that time set up perfectly from the pass of Siwon Kim. Did such a good job not to telegraph that pass, and Jaden Sharma gets across, makes a great save.
And the Canucks Alumni all over the Eagles to start this second period. The Eagles have yet to register a shot on goal while the Alumni have 4. Shaden Sharma, busy man between the pipes, and that's not done yet as Kim breaks loose in front. Drop pass, and Lafayette hit the post. He can do everything but score right now as Lafayette.
You got to feel bad for Nathan Lafayette
go.
just a little bit. It's doing everything right, just can't get it to go.
Gomez tried to thread one 5-hole on Hamani, but he's got that goal stick on the ice, and the puck won't go. Back the other way, the Alumni right back at it as the recently acquired in a trade Gill plays it at the blue line. Across to Vandermeer. Knocked loose in front. Oh, the Eagles might have a chance here. Racing down the ice, it's Miles Bergen with Fangura to Bergen. Fangura, Bergen, and he can't tap it home. No shot registered on the 2-on-0 for the current Eagles players.
It was that Kirk McLean aura. He didn't even have to back check. He was just a little bit too close, threw Miles Bergen off.
His presence alone is stalwart defending. Now that is Kirk McLean. Making saves when he's not even there. Now here comes Gill. Puts it in front for Moore. One-on-one! And he scores! It'll count! Moore gets it! Dean Moore puts the Canucks Alumni back up by 1.
There it is, the defenseman playing forward tonight, and he's able to get it right. There's the 2-on-0 replay really quickly. Miles Bergen, look at the back check from Kirk McLean, throws him off completely. And then Brendan Gill, what a saucer pass. We talked about the trade, adding that skill. Jaden Sharma going for a little bit of a flying poke check there, but didn't come off his line far enough. And Dean Moore tucks that one in.
Dean Moore played for 18 different professional teams, 19 if you count this Canucks Alumni team, which they could definitely go pro. You see this skill, and he's now put the Alumni back on top by 1. 2-1 for the Canucks Alumni, 14 minutes left to go here in the second period. The Eagles find themselves in a terrible pitfall here as still just one shot on goal this period. Looking to change that. It's Miles Bergen, one-on-one. Bergen dekes, and he's shut down by Shaz Hamani, who dives onto the puck.
And it's that Kirk McLean defending. Once again, he's back there on a bit of a back check, and he just has to slam his stick, throws Miles Bergen off, and Miles Bergen obviously tries to go 5-hole on that one, but we've seen Hamani multiple times in this game. He loves to go into the paddle down. You got to try and find some elevation. It's a nice save from Shaz.
Now Savik Brar lines up in the face-off dot, desperately hoping to tie this one for the Eagles. It's going to be Babych who's able to find that puck. Back around to Jackson Anderson. Now for Eisenhut, across to Ryan Motto. He'll slow down on the line. Trying to put it back to Eisenhut, but it's Massimo Fazio who opened the scoring for the Eagles, breaking up that pass. Savik Brar across the line, trying to dangle through Dave Babych. Takes a bit of a hook there from Babych, but he can get away with it. That's that veteran mindset right there. He knows what he can get away with. He might toe the line, but he ain't going to cross it. Now here comes Motto, trying to dangle through Von Stefanelli. Motto takes it right back out on the near hash mark, spins one back down low. Centering bid, hit a stick before deflecting across to John Craighead. Played out front, Motto. He's got options. He'll choose John Craighead, who spent some time with the Maple Leafs, trying to set up Motto in front, but it's the other Motto who shuts it down as Mike Motto stonewalls his kid, Ryan Motto.
We've seen that multiple times. It seems like Dad's got son's number tonight as Mike Motto's been all over Ryan Motto from start to finish.
Showing that experience, age before beauty, as they say. The Wiley Vets still up by 1, 2-1 here for the Canucks Alumni with 12:15 left to play in the second.
Oh. No call on that one as Massimo Fazio with a little bit of I would say just a straight up pull down there on Captain Jackson Anderson. No love lost between two teammates.
Looks like he was able to get away with it, however. No power play
Big
yet. Big
smile on the face of Fazio after that one.
Savik Brar across the blue line he goes. He's got Charlie Durheim with him. Brar trying to center, but some more brilliant defending, this time from BJ McDonald, shuts down that play. Back comes Lynch. Seems like Doug Lynch has been getting some double shifts here in the second period as he's still got that stamina.
Yeah, need that center depth here and obviously Doug Lynch brings that center depth tonight, is right there, unable to find the pass into the slot.
Scott Gomez sets up Westgard in front, and that one shut down before the shot could come through. Ty Westgard just unable to bury it. Scott Gomez, what a move over by the hash marks. Back up top, Durheim. Down low, Mueller. Now Gomez once again. Hooks it across for Mueller. They'll play it to Charlie Durheim along the point. Shadowed by Lynch, who's causing all sorts of problems. He'll get it to Brar, back to Durheim on the doorstep, setting up Westgard in front. They score! It's Greg Mueller! Full-blown tilt right to the back of the net!
And that was just bingo, bongo, bango right there. It's a nice setup, tic-tac-toe. It's one-touch passing, it's quick movement of the puck, and Greg Mueller just gets it on net in tight. You see it's a nice pass out of the corner there. One little stick handle, and Mueller's able to get it to the net quickly. It doesn't allow Hamani to get off his post. And we have a 2-2 hockey game here. Definitely wasn't on my bingo card, this scoreline, I'll tell you that much.
And Greg Mueller, he wins big in the World Poker Tour, and with goals like that, he might win big tonight. If the Eagles can hang on, of course, now we are tied at 2 goals apiece. 10 minutes left to go in the second. Shots 15-13 in favor of the Alumni.
Yeah, Greg Mueller definitely earning that FBT nickname, full-blown tilt, as he's able to get a nice one there.
Franku couldn't hang on. Some more great plays as Lynch sets up Cliff Ronning all by himself. Ronning Deeks through the legs. Incredible by Cliff Ronning. What a finish for the ages. Like a fine wine, that Deke will find twine.
I cannot believe it. Cliff Ronning gets his chances on a breakaway. Nice setup from Doug Lynch after a good hustle. He's able to get that puck loose. You see here on the replay, going D to D, being a little bit lackadaisical with the puck. Doug Lynch being aggressive, gets after it. It's a nice setup for Cliff Ronning, who, like you said, Zach, for the ages, goes between the legs. He knew the poke check was coming. That's that veteran mentality right there, knowing what's about to happen.
Now the Eagles looking to even it up early. Elliott couldn't hang on. The Alumni now back on top by 1, 3-2 as we hit the 9-minute mark left in the second. Putting out in front, Ronning looking for the hat trick. Stopped by Sharma. Gave up a big rebound, but Ronning wasn't there.
Cliff Ronning is here to win tonight. He is all over the ice.
I'm telling you, he's not out of his prime. He's just entering it. Already 2 goals. We're just halfway through this game. Kirk McLean able to find C1 Kim. Kim back across to Doug Lynch. He'll take it behind the net, puts it out in front. Ronning was there, but couldn't get it to go. Vaughn Stefanelli with a good defensive breakup. Gets it back out to center. Kirk McLean, a nice stick lift, shut down the first chance. But here's Elliott. Elliott to the net, looking for 5-hole, and Shaz Hamani, he's shot that 5-hole all night long. I'd stop shooting there.
Yeah, it's that paddle down. He's able to get so low. He's able to make every single save. You got to find a way to get some elevation against Hamani. But right now, the Eagles, not much offense to be had.
Miles Bergen looking to change that as he'll set up Joven Brar. Bergen takes a return feed out in front, spinning Zevenhouse, and he threaded it just wide. Looking for a 360 spinorama to even this at 3, but just couldn't connect with the target. 8 minutes left in the second. Elliott back across Bergen. Toe drag maneuver to the net. Bergen outside. Elliott up top. Joven Brar, and the shot can't come. All set up, no finish here for the Surrey Eagles, down by 1.
Yeah, I think we've seen that a few times from the Eagles, and actually we've seen that a few times from the Eagles in the regular season, just not being able to finish it. Really nice setups, lots of nice passes, but no shot at the end of it.
And Dave Babych with a shot block and then a pass to set up this play. He hasn't lost his touch. Right off the bench, Jack Jeevan Fangura setting up a 3-on-1. He'll find Brian Richardson up the middle. Brar Fangura scores! Jack Jeevan Fangura evens it up for the Surrey Eagles.
And it's another great passing play from the Eagles, this time with the finish you want right there. Jagjeevan Fangura with the one-timer from the side after a real nice 3-on-1 there. One-touch passing from Fazio and Brian Richardson, and obviously Fangura gets an easy one-timer right there. Hamani can't get over in time, and Fangura finds himself with a goal tonight.
What a game we've had, now tied at 3 as we hit the 7-minute mark left of the second. This is anyone's game for all of the marbles. Fangura finds Fazio. Got the first Eagles goal tonight, what feels like so long ago. Looking for his second behind the net. Fazio puts it in front. What a read by the netminder as Shaz Hamani gets the goal stick down in time. Here comes Gill across the line, trying to step around Charlie Durheim, but a nice defensive maneuver there. Keeps the puck to the boards. Now another chance out in front, and Joven Brar breaks it up just before it could be tapped home by Dean Moore, looking for his second of the evening. Here we go. Durheim across for Brian Richardson. Lafayette able to break that up, gets it back out to center. Franku, his teammate, was caught offside, so he'll have to wait for them to touch up. And now Richardson making moves across the blue line. Richardson drop pass to Wessels, kick save Hamani.
What a setup there from Richardson. That's a really nice move to the inside. And then the drop pass.
He'll connect with Wessels again, this time at the blue line, across to Carter Franku. Puts one on target, it's loose in front. But again, the defense being played tonight by the Canucks Alumni can only be described as a bastion of hope for defenders around the world.
Yeah, they have definitely been fantastic on the defensive side of the puck, especially guys like Willinger and obviously John Craighead as well out there doing his part defensively. And then how can we forget Kirk McLean back there, some great back checks from him.
Now a chance in tight. Eisenhut looking for the 5-hole. Sharma denies it. The puck still loose in front. Now Motto a chance on the rebound, and Sharma says no. Jaden Sharma keeping the Eagles in this game through the offensive onslaught of the Alumni. Back the puck comes the other way as Sean Crowther looks to stage the attack for the Alum. He'll get it up to Motto. 3-on-2 building. Craighead backdoor shoots and scores! Sean Craighead! The only thing more beautiful than that flow is that finish.
As right there, it's another nice setup through the neutral zone. John Craighead, like you said, you see the flow. How could he not score a goal with that hair tonight? And Jaden Sharma tries to come over in the two-pad stack, and he can't quite find it. It's a 2-on-1. Really nice setup from Ryan Motto. Carter Franku can't get back in time, and there's the finish from John Craighead.
4 minutes left to go in the second as these two teams continue to trade goals. We have not seen a team take more than a one-goal lead yet. Westhead started a beautiful rush there for the Eagles, ended up crashing into the net. The finish couldn't come. Neil Eisenhut gets to work in the corner, throws it out in front, and a nice setup pass from Eisenhut, but the finish isn't there, and now back the other way. And it's Westhead storming the net, slows down, shoots, and that one fought out by Shaz Hamani.
Right there, Ty Westgard able to enter the zone. He doesn't have much support, decides to go for the smart play and just gets a shot on goal. It's a nice save there.
And assisted by number 23,
Mueller had a beautiful goal earlier. Squares up against BJ McDonald, who came oh so close to start this period. Elliott drop pass to Mueller. Mueller puts it right up the middle, and that just escapes his teammate Vaughn Stefanelli. Vaughn Stefanelli goes to chase, showing that NHL IQ there as he'll stop up from the forechecker and immediately get it up to Scott Gomez. Here comes Gomez. His pocket is picked by Lynch. Doug Lynch has been all over the ice
especially
tonight for
defensively.
The
great back check there from Lynch, and obviously head coach Scott Gomez here for the Surrey Eagles. He knows what to do with the puck on his stick. Calder winner, two-time Stanley Cup champ. Doug Lynch, though, makes it look like easy work there as he's able to pick that one off and get it going for the Canucks Alumni.
And Doug Lynch showing why he spent some time with the Edmonton Oilers. Now a chance out in front. BJ McDonald on the doorstep, stopped by Sharma. McDonald with his second chance of the period, once again turned aside by the Eagles netminder. 2:15 left to go as the Eagles carry it in. Bergen drops it out in front, and Durheim couldn't catch that pass. Feeds his coach, Gomez. Threads that through traffic. What a feed out in front. Elliott fans on the one-timer. You know he wishes he could have a do-over on that, especially off a brilliant pass from his head coach. I'm sure he'll hear about that in practice.
You're going to hear about that one at practice. What a setup that was. Some more nice passing around the perimeter. They finally get it into the slot, and Sam Elliott's been fantastic for the Eagles since he's returned. 14 points in 17 games. Can't quite get a shot away.
And it's bag skating for him next practice, I fear. Hooked back up top. Williker steers it on net. That one tipped out of play by Cliff Ronning, who can tell
right in front of the net.
Of
course, Cliff Ronning, already 2 goals in this one, and right off of the bench, the first thing he does, he goes hard straight to the front of the net. That goal scorer's mentality. Nice deflection there, just couldn't quite keep it down.
Babych is out in the ice right now, and boy, I hope we get to see a Babych bomb tonight. But right now, he's getting involved defensively. A good defensive maneuver there by Babych. A nice clean stick to the ribs. Now Durheim puts it on target. That's hooked back out in front. Wessels, the one-timer, shot wide. Now Cliff Ronning gets to work here just along the boards, battling Evenhouse. And Cliff Ronning, he can just do absolutely everything out there. He can score, he can battle. Now, some of the Eagles taking each other out. Fangura steals along the boards. Get it across to Bergen. And back out in front. Fangura. All the way across to Charlie Durheim, but that went between his legs. A disastrous error as Lynch builds up speed. Lynch looking for his first, and Sharma gets it with the shoulder. That was labeled top corner, but Sharma denies. Now back, Evenhouse sets up Bergen, trying to get around Williger, but Andy Williger, some stalwart defensive plays.
And you can see that reach, that long reach from Andy Williger. He's able to get in tight, get that puck away from Miles Bergen, even though Miles Bergen feels like he's doing a good job of protecting the puck.
Evenhouse able to get that across to Bergen. Bergen battling his teammate, but they'll run out of time.
And you can see Cliff Ronning shaking his head. He knew he had another breakaway coming, but period will come to a close there. Jaden Sharma maybe saved by the bell on that one.
We'll head into the second intermission. 4-3 in favor of the Canucks Alumni, who've been all over these Surrey Eagles. And your Eagles, they're doing their best, but these Alumni seemingly overpowering. Shots are 24-17, also in favor of the Alumni. And your scoring summary so far for the Canucks Alumni, John Craighead and Dean Moore each have one. Cliff Ronning, however, he's got a pair. That's how the Alumni have four. Back the other way, the Surrey Eagles, Greg Mueller able to get them on the board, as well as Jack Jeevan Fangura, and the opening one for Massimo Fazio. This has been a close 4-3 matchup, and I tell you what, when we hit the sheet again for the third, it's anyone's game.
It really is anybody's game. I've been really impressed with the 200-foot game. I thought we kind of expected this to be more of like an all-star game, not a lot of defending going, but there's been some great defensive plays, some great back checks, some great stick breakups. Some really nice 200-foot game being put on by both of these teams here. And like you said, Zach, it's anybody's game in the third period.
Yeah, I have to say, I wish I could go back and chastise former me for saying that this game might not be so defensive. I was thinking we'd see flashy offensive plays, and we've seen that. But these are two teams that are committed to keeping the puck out of the net. And this really has that playoff atmosphere as these two teams want the win desperately.
Yeah, they definitely want the bragging rights that come with the win here tonight. And so far, the Canucks Alumni on the back of Cliff Ronning have done a really, really good job getting that puck in the offensive zone, some nice plays being set up, and then obviously we've seen great hustle from Cliff Ronning, Doug Lynch, all over the ice for the blue team tonight.
No, they truly have been incredible, and of course, you gotta give some hats off to the netminders playing out of their mind as Shaz Hamani and Jaden Sharma going save for save, refusing to be outdone by the other. And I'll tell you what, Sharma, that blocker side, oh, it's working wonders. He's got the pad down low, but if I was to have to give the best goal stick we've seen so far, it's gotta be Shaz Hamani, both playing the puck and making some saves. He knows how to use that twig.
Yeah, no, Shaz Hamani's been really good at kind of shutting down those in-tight plays. We've seen a lot of backdoor passes, a lot of in-tight passes from the Surrey Eagles team. Well, Shaz Hamani in that paddle down position, he's been shutting those down fairly easily.
And you can see over on the far side of the rink right now, Tommaso Frontadu talking to Mike Motto, the assistant coach of the Eagles, and I'm sure lots to ask him about. Firstly, how he has been able to shut down his son time in, time out, as we saw the couple board battles where it was Mike Motto and Ryan Motto heading into it. The older one, Mike, able to come away with the win, I'd say just about every time.
Yeah, Coach Mike Motto, I think there was 3 or 4 one-on-one scenarios with his son, Ryan Motto. And like you said, Mike Motto showing that dad strength, winning every single time, able to get that puck off of his son. And not only was it due to his strength, but a little bit of quickness there, some veteran tips and tricks, if you will, that his son just doesn't quite know yet.
No, exactly. Lots to learn, and I'm sure the Eagles players learning a lot from tonight.
You talked about the practice stuff as well. I'm just incredibly sure that Mike Motto will be telling Ryan Motto exactly what he was doing in this game to be able to dominate defensively the way he has.
No, exactly. Lead by example. And one player that I'm interested to see if he'll lead by example is head coach Scott Gomez. A little bit quiet so far. Haven't seen him on the score sheet. Might have had an assist if that shot was not fanned upon by his teammates. So we'll see if he's able to get onto the score sheet, as I'm expecting a really big third by Scott Gomez. His team currently down by 1, and if he as the head coach wants to lead by example, it's going to be him who has to tie this one up.
Yeah, no, it's that line of Scott Gomez, Ty Westgard, and Ryan Evenhouse. You got lots of speed and skill on that line. But Scott Gomez, we know what he likes to do. He likes to set up that cycle, and he's more of the passer. I'd like to see Gomer start to go to the front of the net, allow Ryan Evenhouse and Westgard get you the puck. Instead, it's Scott Gomez doing all the heavy lifting. We'll have to see what happens in the third period if he can find himself in front of that net.
We will take a short break here from South Surrey Arena. We're absolutely loving commentating this one. We've got 11:30 to go in the intermission. When we return, we'll have a brief Eagles Central panel, but for now we'll take a short step aside. I am your play-by-play guy, Zach Clarke. So excited to be here tonight. Alongside me, the one and only Liam Higgs, second best mustache behind Dave Babych. We'll take a short step aside. When we're back, it's Eagles Central with myself, Zach Clarke, Liam Higgs, and Tommaso Frontadue. Welcome back, everybody, to the Surrey Eagles Brendan Batchelor broadcast booth for a little bit of an impromptu Eagles Central here. For, of course, myself, Zach Clarke, joining me, Liam Higgs, and Tommaso Frontado. And I'm so thankful we get to do another Eagles Central together as, of course, part of that playoff run last year, and now back at it here in the booth. And so, Tommaso, you have been on the bench for the Surrey Eagles team. This is a team that finds itself in a hole, down by 1. What has been your view of the game from the bench?
Yeah, I mean, it's been so funny being behind the bench for the first time and having Scott Gomez as a player. It's the most surreal feeling ever. And Andrew and I, another junior broadcaster for our Eagles team, we've just been loving it down there. It's been so much fun having all the guys so casual, but at the same time, putting in that work and just having a lot of fun. It's been such a good, crazy experience.
Yeah, I think we saw Cam Karen giving it to head coach Scott Gomez on the bench just a little bit there, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that here in the third period. But I'll tell you what, 4-3 is the score right now, Tommaso. I believe this is pretty much anybody's game. Have you heard very many talks of plays down there yet, or any strategizing going on down there yet?
Yeah, we have a good power play that we're trying to run up, but looks like the refs are putting the whistles away because we've tried to get it. We tried to get a little bit of a unit started, and we got a couple of guys waiting to get their opportunity. But no, we're just rolling the lines as much as we can and getting everyone a little chance. It's just been so funny.
Well, we'll see how the third breaks down, but one thing that's been undeniable has been the goaltending of Shazamani for this Canucks alumni team. I mean, how frustrated on the players of the bench getting robbed time and time again on these great scoring chances.
Oh, 100%. You hear it from all the guys, getting a little chirps at the bench when they come back. Nice shot, but it always gets saved. And I think that we're just going to have to crack the code in that third period, find a way to sneak a couple by him to tie it up, and maybe get another couple if they want to win here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, especially from the Eagles team, is you got to see them use their speed a little bit more. I know that, obviously they got to get back on defense. They got to take care of their own end first, but we haven't seen nearly enough speed through the neutral zone and in the offensive zone. If they want to take advantage of their youth and their speed, haven't seen enough of that from the Eagles.
No, that we haven't. So we'll see exactly what they were able to implement coming into the third period here in terms of blazing past this. But Tommaso, I was totally wrong pregame when I said this game's going to be all offense, no defense. How impressed have you been with the defensive commitment of both teams, especially the likes of Babych, Willinger, and all these other Wiley veterans?
100%. I mean, talk about sticks in the lane and poke checks that you wouldn't even expect. But for the Canucks alumni, that's what those guys have been doing their whole career, and they know the game like the back of their hand, using those plays, using their sticks, breaking up a bunch of plays, and so many chances. Miles Bergen got robbed 100 times, it seemed, in the zone, just trying to get a shot, but, good stick in the lane and smart minds break up those plays. So, yeah, it's been super surprising to watch, because we talked about this before the game. We wouldn't really expect that much defense. I thought we might have been at double digits already, but clearly not. Both teams putting defense first, and even on our bench, we're talking about it, getting back on the back check, chirping guys who are, making sure we play up to that level.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got Dave Babych on one team. That team's going to prioritize defense and physicality. And then on the other end, you got head coach Scott Gomez, assistant coach Mike Motto, all these guys, Ty Westgard even as well, all these guys, Charlie Durheim, lots of defensive players on both sides of the puck. So maybe we were wrong to expect this one to be a little bit high scoring, because they're firing on all cylinders, and it starts in the defensive zone, practicing what they're preaching tonight.
So Tommaso, running out of time here in the intermission, do you have a prediction here for the third period? Who's going to come out on top, the alumni or the Eagles?
Oh, I think it's going to be such a close one. I think it's going to be one goal. It's going to be a one-goal game here, and I'm going to give it to the alumni. I feel like their 200-foot play, they've been all over it. I mean, Cliff Ronning, what a first 40 from him.
He's entering his prime now, I'm telling you.
Absolutely, flying all over the moves on Sharman. That's Jaden Sharman. That's a top-tier goaltender when he's healthy, and just roofing it on the guy. So I think it's going to be a one goal, but I'm going to call a couple more goals. 7-6 in regulation, and it's going to be a one-goal game, as I mentioned. Shots maybe going off the chart. We might see a bunch. Pucks on net, a lot of rubber on both goaltenders, but I'm going to go 7-6 alumni.
And Higgs, what's your picks?
I'll keep this one quick. I completely agree with you. I'm going to take the alumni in this one. Cliff Ronning has just been undeniable. I think I'm actually going to go with a score I think I'm actually going to go with a score of 8-7.
Oh.
So a little bit higher than Tommaso, but I think it's going to be close as well. And actually, let's go 9-7. I think maybe we might get one extra from the alumni as well. Maybe the empty net. So let's go 9-7, the final score here for me tonight. I'm also going to side with Tommaso, and I think the alumni are going to take this one.
I'm going to completely copy his scoreline 7-6, but I'm going to say we could see extra time here. The way this game's going, it's got playoff atmosphere. I think we might be tied at 6 under regulation, and that'll be my pick. This was an impromptu Eagles Central. I've been Zach Clarke. He's Liam Higgs. Tommaso Frontado as well on the call. We're back with the third period in 2 minutes' time, so we'll take a short break. Be back with you then. Welcome back to beautiful Surrey, British Columbia, here in South Surrey Arena. Moments away from the third period here in an electric game between the Canucks Alumni and your Surrey Eagles. Currently the score 4-3 in favor of the Canucks Alumni, who are up by a goal due to some stellar play in the second period and a pair of goals from the one and only Cliff Ronning. We'll see how this one shakes down in the third, but one thing's for sure, we're going to see a few more goals.
Yeah, I think that's definitely written in stone. I think we're going to see a few more goals. I think we're going to see a few more shots, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the stalwart defensive game we've seen so far start to break down a little. I think these teams are going to try and open it up a little bit here in the third period, so I very much expect there to be a lot more shots and maybe even a few more goals this period than the other two.
Ready to go here from South Surrey Arena. Third period of runtime going to start now. Greg Mueller to take this opening draw here for the Surrey Eagles. Of course, he came across as part of that 4-player trade between the Eagles and the Alumni. And boy, what a pickup he's been for the Eagles, as he also scored a goal there in that second frame. And he'll take on C1 Kim in this opening draw.
Now you see the trash talk already starting here for the third period as head coach Scott Gomez and Doug Lynch get into it.
We saw a bit off that opening draw as, of course, Greg Mueller beat out Kim and then said a couple words to him, and here is Mueller with the puck now. Looking to set up things in front. He'll find Gomez, let that puck go just a bit by him. And now a chance for Lynch racing back the other way. Lynch one-on-one with the breakaway, and that one turned aside.
And look at the hustle from the blue team. They get onto that loose puck.
Another chance in front, and Ronning hit the post looking for the hat trick, but Cliff Ronning struck iron while looking for gold. Cliff Ronning behind the net again. He's all hands behind there, stick handling at a phone booth. Now back to Kirk McLean, and he's got some maneuvers too. Beats out the defense. He'll find Cliff Ronning in tight behind the net with options. Ronning hooks it in front for Lynch, and the one-timer blocked there by Ty Westgard. You could tell that stung. He's got a smile on his face. Wasn't expecting to block a bullet like that.
And that's playoff hockey for you, putting your body on the line when it matters. That's a nice block in front. helping out Jaden Sharma.
And Ty Westgard, he did that for the Eagles for 5 years, and now he's back here at SSA doing it again.
And how about that shift for the Canucks alumni from Cliff Ronning and Doug Lynch? As those two, the chemistry between them is just undeniable. Some nice passes. They're setting up that cycle game down low. Feels like every time Cliff Ronning is touching the ice, he's the best player.
BJ McDonald lines up against Ryan Evenhouse in this draw. And Evenhouse beats out the wily vet. He'll hook it back to Phil Von Stefanelli. Now a bank pass ends up on the far side of the boards, intercepted by Keith for McDonald, and he tips it just high. BJ McDonald, he's had 3 or 4 scoring opportunities, and he's come so close, but so far.
Yeah, chance after chance for this Canucks alumni team, even going back to the second period, just can't buy a goal right now.
Again, McDonald and Evenhouse, but this time it's McDonald who wins the draw back to Keith. Matt Keith, the ex-Islander, he coughs that one up. And now Lofthouse across the line on the right wing across to Evenhouse. Evenhouse 1-on-2 in the corner. His pocket picked by his teammate Jackson Anderson. He's going to hook that across the rink, intended for Dave Babych, but it's Motto who gets there first. Nice move by Motto. Back up to Von Stefanelli. Now a centering bid. It's up in the air, loose. Both teams batting away at it. It drops for the Eagles. Motto has it. High point, long shot, knocked down and held on to by Shaz Zamani.
Smart heads-up play there from Mike Motto, just getting that one on net. You got big Mark Lofthouse right in front of the net looking for a deflection, but nice job by Himani finding that one through traffic, and the best chance of the period so far for the Surrey Eagles team.
Another chance out in front. Lofthouse turned aside by the blocker of Hamani. He is everywhere between those pipes. As Mark Lofthouse, the ex-Capital, looking to bury one here tonight. And he's got it again here. Lofthouse hooks it across for Von Stefanelli. Back down the left side. Sharp angle drive. Around to Lofthouse once more. Lofthouse just able to hang on to that one. Now back here comes Lafayette. He looked great in the first. Lafayette to the net. Blocked by Von Stefanelli. Experienced ex-NHL defender with a veteran shot block there. Motto. Rink wide. Here comes Brian Richardson to Savik Brar. He'll throw one down the middle. Fangura tripped on the puck there. Got to put the puck 2 minutes in the box for tripping after that one. Will be the game's first penalty and a clean matchup between these two.
Yeah, we've yet to see a penalty in this one. No power play time for either team, and I really want to see who's going to be on the power play for these teams.
Tommaso Frontinu teased the Eagles' power play unit as being absolutely lethal. They've prepared for this game. Richardson to the outside. Fangura looking for backdoor, but it's Sean Crowther who's able to block that pass. Richardson, a burst of speed to get to the puck first. Up the middle to Durheim, but a defensive effort from John Craighead stops the chance in its tracks.
Not only is he scoring goals, but also breaking up plays defensively.
Jovan Brar wheeling on the outside to Richardson. Back down the middle. Fangura can't find it. Back to Brian Richardson. Williger able to break up that play. He'll start the rush for the Alumni. They'll slow down and begin a line change as Crowther looks to stabilize in his own end. Crowther, his long pass hit a stick through center ice, and the Eagles retrieve to Fangura. We talked about how the second period felt like the Alumni were dominating, but it's been all Eagles through the first 5 minutes here as they're slowly but surely catching up on the shot clock, 26-19 in favor of the Alumni.
But we're seeing kind of what happened in the second period. We've seen a lot of nice setups, some really nice passes, but we haven't seen the finish yet.
Elliott looking to change things, but Fangura couldn't tip that one home on the doorstep. Now a chance for the Alumni to begin the rush. Ronning, he's got 2 tonight as he picks the puck up behind the net. Ronning shuts down in the corner, looking for the chance in front, and Sharma is able to keep that out. Now Ronning again on the back door, banging away at it, and Ronning! That one's kept out. He smiles as he hangs his head to the rafters. Oh, so close to the hat trick.
And there's the hustle from Doug Lynch and Cliff Ronning once again as they go down the ice in the blink of an eye, it feels like, and they're able to get a really nice chance in tight twice in a row. Cliff Ronning, once again, that hustle all over the puck, hunting constantly.
Kirk McLean looks for the backdoor pass. What a feed! Lynch shut down by Sharma. Rebound was loose for a brief moment.
This is a lethal line here for the Canucks alumni team.
Now Westgard looking to change things, but his shot goes high. Cliff Ronning sitting right at the blue line, hoping for another chance. Lynch across on the outside, shoots, and that one misses right-hand side. It'll ricochet all the way back to Kirk McLean in his own end. Now McLean's got to be careful. Lots of players closing in, but a beautiful pass from Kirk McLean right to the stick of Jim Vandermeer. Now Westgard able to win it back here for the Eagles. The ex-Eagles captain begins the offensive rush. That is until Lynch steals. He's got Ronning waiting for the break. Cliff Ronning with 2 on the evening. Drop pass, looking to get it back. Kim can't connect. Now he will find Ronning on the doorstep, but Frankie who knocks it away. The Eagles clinging on for dear life as Cliff Ronning looks to turn on the Jets. They'll escape unscathed as Ronning finally heads to the bench, and the Eagles can breathe a sigh of relief. Frankie back the other way, turned aside there by Hamani. Now Westgard retrieves at the blue line, trying to walk it into an offensive chance, but it's the alumni who steal. They've got a chance the other way. A chance to Keith, in tight. Sharma stopped, and Gill on the rebound. Can't beat Jaden Sharma. Jackson Anderson falls down from his position on the point to get it down low to Gill. Trying to cut in front. He's kept back to the perimeter there. Good defensive effort from Frank, who is going to get it across to Ty Westgard. Now Miles Bergen to Westgard again. BJ McDonald able to break up that play. And now here come the alum. With it, Matt Keith to the back door for Anderson. Looking to shovel that one top shelf, but Sharma gets the shoulder up.
Nice save there from Sharma as the Canucks alumni team starting to come back a little bit here in this third period. You mentioned it, Zach, but the first period felt all Eagles all the time. Very different contrast to what we saw the first 2 periods. Well, this time around in the third, about halfway through now, the blue Canucks alumni team starting to turn it on a little bit.
Dave Babych, a long shot from the blue line. That gave Sharma some trouble. Barely able to hang on there from a Babych bomb.
Haven't seen enough Babych bombs in this one. I think if you're the Canucks alumni team, you got to find a way once you enter the zone, move that puck around the perimeter, get some traffic, and start to take advantage of those.
Here's Gill looking for the backdoor play. BJ McDonald hit the outside of the post. Another chance for Matt Keith. Sharma keeps it out. What a chance for the line of McDonald and Keith as those two set up a chance for the other.
It really does feel like this Canucks alumni team just can't buy a goal at times, especially in tight. We've seen some really nice setups, just can't find the finish on the end of it.
Here is Dave Babych. Puts it right to the stick of Lafayette. What a pass from Babych. 10.5 minutes left in the third period. Canucks alumni still up by a goal, 4-3. Scott Gomez from Motto, all sorts of space. Motto robbed! What a flash of the glove by Shaz Hamani. He may be down, but he is never out.
And there's the chemistry from head coach Scott Gomez and assistant Surrey Eagles coach Mike Motto. As you see that cycle play out of the corner, Scott Gomez finds a great pass to Mike Motto right down the center of the ice, and Motto had all day long. He could have taken a break, had a sip of tea. Instead, he shoots that puck high glove, and what a save there from Shaz Hamani as he goes around the world with it.
Gomez on the blue line, able to win that battle 2-on-1. That's prime Gomez for you. Back to Vaughn Stefanelli. And now Gomez begins the rush. Trying to escape Lafayette, but this is a vicious forecheck. Gomez forced to dish it across to Ryan Evenhouse. He'll find Vaughn Stefanelli. Back for Mike Motto. And now that one's coughed up in all alone. Here come the alum. Shoots, and Sharma robs Neil Eisenhut. Blowing a tire there in the corner was Dean Moore. Smiles as he gets up. Tripped over the ice. It is slippery. And here's Savic Brar. Trying to cut through traffic to the back door, looking for the wraparound. They score! Ryan Evenhouse puts the Eagles
back to 4-4. And there it is from Ryan Evenhouse. This is what we talked about. Him and Scott Gomez, very similar archetype. A smaller forward, lots of skill, can get in those gritty areas. And right there, what a pass from Babych Brar. He's got 3 blue jerseys on him. And it's Ryan Evenhouse just taking the puck to the net, trying to get a shot on goal. It's a wraparound as Hamani can't stay with it, loses the sight of the puck a little bit, can't get back to his post, and it's a wide open net for Ryan Evenhouse.
And now it's the Canucks Alumni who find themselves kind of on the back foot. They had the 1-goal lead.
5 shots right now for the Alumni, though.
Now Babych Brar on a breakaway. Brar to the net! And that one kept out as Hamani able to clamp the pads tight as he's deep in his net.
And the back check from Sean Crowther as he was giving Babych Brar some issues there. I don't think Brar necessarily got the shot away that he wanted. Nice save, though, from Shaz Hamani.
7:40 left to go in the third. We're all tied at 4. And I tell you what, our Eagles Central's predictions
were bad.
Yeah, they were not good.
Our predictions in the Eagles Central were not good.
We again forgot just how committed these teams are to playing strong defense. Evenhouse looking to get the Eagles the lead once more. They haven't had that since the 2-1 tally. Here's Jovan Brar. Puts on the speed, sets it up down low. Sam Elliott back up to Brar. Now rink wide, Durheim back in front to Elliott. Once again to Brar as the Eagles starting to pass circles around the Alumni. Evenhouse sheltering this puck. He'll find Sam Elliott. A mad dash to the net is turned aside by Shaz Hamani.
And that's good veteran defending there from the Alumni. That was a whole line of young Surrey Eagles players, current Surrey Eagles players, moving that puck around with speed. Nice tape-to-tape passes. But the Alumni don't allow them to get it in a dangerous area. They keep them to the perimeter. They use that veteran sense, that hockey IQ there. Really nice defending from the Blue.
Here come the alum, Matt Keith. Drops it across to BJ McDonald. He'll start up the right wing. McDonald making moves, cutting through the defense like a scythe, puts it on net, and Sharma narrowly able to keep it aside as he was kind of falling back on himself. He barely kept that out.
And I love I couldn't have said it better myself. Getting through the zone like a scythe right there. Nice save from Jaden Sharma, keeping this game tied.
Now Fazio, he had the Eagles first. He'll drop one back to the blue line. Fangura cuts around the first defender, but Kirk McLean just won't let him through. Now another chance loose in front. Diving onto that one's Hamani. And largely thanks to the defensive efforts of Kirk McLean, that one stays out.
Yeah, it's a good battle down low by Kirk McLean and goaltender Shaz Hamani finding that loose puck, battling in that blue paint. He's able to get his team a whistle.
It's cool seeing a save like that from Kirk McLean as he's able to get in front of the deadly pass in front. 5:20 left to go in the third. I'll tell you what we did mention on Eagle Central that still could come true. The possibility of seeing an extra frame. This is all tied up, and neither of these teams seem to be able to crack the other. Fazio gets it down low. Wessel's battling Lafayette. Puck's loose in front. Hamani knocks it aside. Fangura able to find the rebound, but he couldn't tap it home before Hamani's back into his cage. The Eagles all over the alum here in the third. That is until Lafayette tips that one out of play and waving a quick sorry to the crowd, but it looks like everyone's A-okay here at SSA.
Get some souvenirs here in the crowd. There's obviously a lot of names out there. You get to say, hey, this puck came from,
That came from Nathan Lafayette right there.
This
That's
one
an
came from, Nathan Lafayette. I do believe that puck was kept, and looks like we got a souvenir in the crowd.
.440 left to go here in the third. The Alumni beginning a rush. The traded for Gill slows down around Wessel's. Gill dangles out for Cliff Ronning on the doorstep. Back to Gill, and he shoots it wide. What a setup from Ronning, but the finish from Gill just can't come.
Just an offensive powerhouse, Cliff Ronning. It's another nice setup this time around for him instead of a shot from him, and just couldn't find the trigger.
Tell you what, if the Alumni had more of Cliff Ronning, this could be 100-0 now. He's
I'm
everywhere.
surprised they're not double shifting him. They got to win this game.
You see Cliff running now some great defensive efforts as he's getting that stick involved, directing traffic even on the defense. Miles Bergen receives a pass on the right wing, shovels it in front, the puck's tipped, but Shaz Hamani reads the redirection and he'll stop play.
And that's a good job by the Eagles, moving without the puck, making themselves a good option right there, right in front. I believe it was Josh Wessels, and it's a really nice save. Miles Bergen loves to work that cycle game, and it's just a nice pass in front. Like I said, finding that open ice when you don't have the puck is so important. Josh Wessels goes hard to the net, gets his stick, makes his stick an option, and it's a nice save from Hamani.
Moore shovels that one back for Dave Babych. He'll battle Bergen in the corner, but Babych, a one-handed pass. He makes it look easy, and for him it probably is. Back comes Moore on the left wing, puts it on net, and Sharma flashes the mitten once again. He'll shut down that play. But Dean Moore, he's right back at it. He already has one tonight. Looking for his second. Motto plays it down low for Dean Moore. Bergen able to get there first, shaking off Dean Moore as he begins the rush. To the outside for Lofthouse. Mark Lofthouse puts it up the middle. Von Stefanelli unloads. Stick save, Hamani.
And another nice setup there for the Surrey Eagles. And getting down to the wire now, your best players need to step up here if you want to come away with the win.
Now the Alumni, Ryan Motto to the back door for Lynch, but it's a nice defensive stick from Von Stefanelli that keeps it aside. Now another chance in front. Von Stefanelli unable to find that one as the Alumni recover. Some moves from Ryan Motto to Sean Crowther on the outside. His shot blocked in front. That is his own man, Lynch. And now the Eagles, a chance to strike the other way. Ty Westgard with Miles Bergen. Westgard to the net, turned aside, the rebound! Swept out by Andy Williger. A stalwart defensive play there for Williger as he'll keep this tied at 4.
Yeah, someone's got to play hero here soon enough. I'm looking at Cliff Ronning, and the other way I'm looking at Scott Gomez. Your best players have to step up right now in this moment. 2 minutes left in the third period. It's coming down to the wire. See who can get the job done.
Greg Mueller throws it across to Ty Westgard. He'll play it back to the corner, but again broken up by Williger, who's all over the ice in his own end. Durheim coughs it up to, you guessed it, Williger throws one on target. You can hear the boom off the pad from here. That was a supersonic wrist shot from Andy Williger. Keith puts it in front. Ronning fires, and that's tipped wide. As Cliff Ronning, you know he wants it.
He wants it so bad. You can see it every time the puck comes near him. He's looking how to score a goal or set up a goal. That wrister had tons behind it. Nice block in front.
Now Scott Gomez back the other way, trying to play hero for the Eagles. He'll find Durheim. Durheim couldn't hang on to that one, but the Eagles retrieve it at center. 90 seconds left in the third. We're tied at 4 goals apiece. Scott Gomez winding through center. Puck on his stick. The biggest moment of his hockey career to date. Carries it to the corner. Gomez looking for a chance in front. He'll play it back up high. Josh Wessels winds up, fires, kick save, Hamani. Back to Evenhouse we go. 60 seconds left. Josh Wessels up top to Evenhouse. He'll put it back in front to Wessels on the backhand. The shot can't come through. His stick was tied up. He'll play it across. Savik Brar. Back to the right side we go. Franku for Scott Gomez. Back up top, Franku. Rink wide to Josh Wessels. Trying to step aside from the defender. Wessels slows it down. 30 seconds now as the Eagles looking for one final opportunity. The puck escapes out to center, and there's one last chance for either team to put this to bed in regulation. It's stolen now. Saewon Kim charging the net. Kim on the backhand, hooks it in front, running, scores! Cliff Ronning, the hat trick as he rides the stick all the way to a 1-goal lead late in the third.
And it's poetry, really. I mean, you couldn't have written a better story. It's Cliff Ronning off of a great setup from Saewon Kim, who went hard to the net, and then just at the last second spun around, threw it back towards the goal. And Cliff Ronning, he's got a nose for goal. He goes hard to the blue paint, and it's a tap in for him. And like you said, Zach, it's a hat trick for number 7, Cliff Ronning here tonight.
The hats rain down at SSA as the officials having to get involved to recover all of these. As
if I had one, I'd throw it too. You got it. It's poetry, really. You get the stick ride there, the stick ride to victory. If they can close this one out, only 22 seconds remain. Looks like Sharma's going to go to the bench.
And this is it. The Eagles have just 22 seconds to try and tie this game. A miracle is needed now for the Birds in white. And that miracle might just be Ty Westgard flying down the right side. He'll hook it around to Fangura. 10 seconds now. Wessels from the blue line. That's kept out by Shaz Hamani. And it's cleared down the rink. It's going. It's going. It misses. But Motto going to bury it. And that'll do it. The game is over. The Canucks Alumni take it. 6-4, the final score. The Alumni showing that age beats youth.
Age definitely beat youth this time around. I think you saw it with just the way they were playing the game. They never allowed the Eagles to take advantage of their speed. Their positional hockey was just so good. Felt like they were always in the right place at the right time, and right there, I mean, the perfect example of that was Cliff Ronning's last goal, just right in front of the net where you're supposed to be. He taps that one home, and I'll also say this, Zach, our predictions were not very good for this one.
No, indeed, our predictions weren't, but the game was. And the hat-trick man himself, Cliff Ronning, leads the handshake line against Scott Gomez, who was kept off the score sheet
I am shocked. I am so impressed with Cliff Ronning. I think you said it, Zach. He really could still be in his prime, and we just don't know it yet.
He's got a 10-year NHL career left in him, I'm telling you, man. On the doorstep, 3 goals for Cliff Ronning, as he is part of the Alumni being able to take down the Eagles in this event tonight, as thrilling as it gets. And it turns out you just can't beat the Wiley Vets.
Yeah, you just can't beat the Wiley Vets. I mean, age beats youth. I mean, they got all the playoff experience on that side, a lot of BCHL experience on that side as well. So just couldn't find a way to beat all that experience, all that hockey IQ on the Canucks Alumni team.
Just too much to get through, and you see the officials being thanked now by the players. And what a clean game it was. We did not see one penalty.
Not one penalty the entire game.
As clean as it gets. I saw no things that could possibly be called infractions, as it was just every single player here looking to get that Lady Byng trophy here tonight. And I'd say they all earned it. Really some fantastic plays from everyone. Kirk McLean, a huge part of the fact that his team's coming out on top, only allowing 4 goals. The defensive stalwart on that back end. And so many players really earning their dues tonight. All the scouts in attendance really got to keep their eyes open. Some of these alumni, I'm telling you, they got 15 to 20 years left in them each.
Yeah, and I'll have to say this for Kirk McLean, doing all goalies proud, being able to come out here, play as a player, and really light it up. He did a great job out here tonight, and what a fun event to be a part of. It was a great thing to be a part of this Canucks Alumni game, obviously sponsored by Rick's Heart Foundation. It's been really just a blessing to be a part of, and I was really excited to see the building, how many people were here as well. You mentioned it, Zach, but I mean, it was a playoff atmosphere in here. It was a full South Surrey arena as you get the round of applause here for everyone on the ice, and I think you'd agree with me, Zach. Just what an event to be a part of. So fun tonight.
Absolutely so much fun. I would like to thank the Brars and the Eagles for having me on board for this event. And of course, got to give a massive shout out to the usual Eagles broadcaster, Shigraj Lally, for stepping aside, allowing me into his booth to call this super fun event. And of course, a picture now being taken for all the Eagles and alumni involved in this game, traded or on their original team. You know, they're all happy with this result and happy with a fantastic game.
And how about that blockbuster trade? I mean, that trade right before won the alumni this game. They got that extra youth, that extra speed. They took advantage of it. That blockbuster trade really won them this game.
And you got to give credit again to the coach, Darcy Rota, for being able to pull off a 4-man blockbuster trade literally 3 minutes
right before puck drop.
How often do you see that, where players actually turning to swap the jerseys off of each other? And I couldn't have been more thrilled with that result, with the game, and ultimately a 6-4 victory as the alumni come out on top. And I mean, picking a player of the game, it should be difficult given how many players had unreal performances. But I think despite the amazing efforts we saw from every player involved, Cliff Ronning, a hat trick. He's still in his prime, and he will be for at least another 20 years.
No, I completely agree. I think you have to give it to Cliff Ronning. I mean, he comes out here, he gets a hat trick, but forget the goal scoring. Just great impact in general, great hustle. Felt like every time he touched the puck, dangerous things were happening for the Canucks alumni team. I think you have to give it to Cliff Ronning.
Oh, absolutely, although it should be noted, Shaz Hamani turning aside 26 shots tonight for that alumni team, and he, of course, another huge reason why that was able to get done. A couple last memories being made on the ice here as lots of different players taking photos with some of the alumni, and a lot of the alumni, of course, reuniting with each other, and several of them played together in their pro careers as well as at NCAA, and some of them even at the junior level.
Yeah, no, it's been an awesome thing to be a part of and see. Obviously, all these guys getting to come back and see people who they haven't seen, and some of them for years, but like you said, all of them know each other through one thing or another, whether it be junior hockey, their NHL careers, or their overseas careers, doesn't matter. All of these guys, it was awesome to see the interactions with them and just being able to see their old friends, and it's been such a fun thing to be a part of.
No, absolutely, and we'll have to see how the Eagles are able to respond to a crushing loss like this tonight. Of course, late in the regular season, there's so much to play for, and now the Canucks alumni reminding them they've got to be able to kick it into that next gear. Exactly, you know, you're not on the king of the world. They may be the defending Fred Page Cup champions, but I tell you what, if the Canucks alumni were in the BCHL, they'd give them a run for their money this postseason.
Yeah, they're not. They might be defending Fred Page Cup champions, but they're not defending Stanley Cup champions like Scott Gomez and others on this ice. But I have to say, it was really fun to be a part of this one. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun seeing the Eagles players. I'm sure they enjoyed getting to play with some NHL legends out there, Eagles legends, other hockey legends. Really fun thing to be a part of, and honestly, a great job for the Birds and Buddies as well. A lot of people came out tonight. Lots of money was raised. It was really just a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we end the broadcast, we should say, of course, tonight was a charitable event to raise awareness for the Eagles' new Birds and Buddies program, where they will pair all 23 players with 23 students and kids across the Surrey school area that really need that outreach and need that help. So it's an awesome initiative to be a part of, so please do consider supporting the Eagles Birds and Buddies program. And would also like to really thank the Rick's Heart Foundation and White Rock Rotary Club for being big sponsors for tonight's event. It wouldn't be possible without those two organizations. So from the bottom of our hearts, sincerely thank you for being able to put on an awesome event like tonight. I know that I had an absolute blast, and judging by the reactions of all the fans and crowds here who are still cheering and celebrating tonight's matchup, I'd say everyone else did too.
Yeah, I think everyone else did as well. Lots of smiles on the ice, a very live crowd, lots of action in the crowd as well. The place was rocking from start to finish. It's really just a fun thing to be a part of, and like you said, I don't think anyone else was having a bad time either. Everyone, lots of smiles on the face here tonight, and this is the kind of thing that, I mean, in our job, being around the rink all the time, commentating these hockey games, this is one of the most fun events I've ever been a part of, if not the most.
I couldn't agree more. So once again, thank you to the Surrey Eagles organization and the Canucks Alumni organization for putting on and throwing this amazing game. Final score 6-4. The Canucks Alumni take it. Thank you to the whole Surrey Eagles crew, all the camera people and all the technical direction, the PA, everything that goes into this. The wonderful Richard Davis for being the man with the plan back there. And I'd like to thank Tommaso Frontadu for joining us on an impromptu Eagles Central in the second intermission. And of course, Liam Higgs and myself, Zach Clarke, we are signing off here from South Surrey Arena. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night from South Surrey.